All right. What is going on, YouTube? What's going on, fellow fantasy people? And of course, what is up? The Catch Catch Nation is in the house, man. Super stoked to get tonight's stream rolling, man. We have got a little bit of Monday night football action going on. Not a whole lot going on in the game. We got, some Saints and Seahawks, 3-7, 7-3, however you want to look at it. DK Metcalf with a big score in this game. For those of you who own DK Metcalf, Kamara's had a couple receptions. Rashad Penny is looking to get the bulk of the carries from the Seahawks. Outside of that, not a whole lot going on, right? We thought this would be a good matchup for guys like Jameis Winston, right? Guys like Marquez Callaway, but not a whole lot going on so far tonight. Maybe that'll change. We'll find out. So, guys, make sure you hit that like button on your way in. We will just be hanging out, watching the game, doing some fantasy Q&A, a little bit of, week 7 reaction, so to speak, and then a little bit of week 8. Wow. What was that? Wheat eggs? Wow. A little bit of week 8 Q&A. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited, as you can tell. I think week 8 is going to be another interesting week for the season. So hit that like button, man. Hit that sub button if you guys are new here. And let's get this thing rolling. Let's see who's up in the chat. Aaron Reborn, what is going on, my guy? James Zal, think it will get better for Ridley. I do. I absolutely do. I mean, he had a pretty good outing yesterday. And I look for that to continue to improve, as well as this Falcons offense to continue to improve as well. So I do, James. I do think that things will get better overall for you, being an owner of Calvin Ridley, that is. So I'm watching Peyton and Eli. They're showing replays of Tom Brady celebrating during the Super Bowl. All right, let's see. 1st and 10 for Gino Smith and the Seahawks. He has thrown it down the field to Tyler Lockett. Incomplete pass. Good coverage there, but almost a catch by Lockett. James Waller, a good buy low or not worth it. I do think, just due to what we know Waller can do, he is absolutely a good buy low right now. Wow, Lockett had that ball too. That was a perfectly thrown football. Wow. But yeah, James, I do think it's a good, opportunity to buy Waller low, but I wouldn't, put too much capital into him. But especially with him going on bye week this week, there's probably going to be some owners out there, the bye week and the overall poor performances, right? Those two things combined, I do think that there will be owners out there willing to sell Waller at a little bit of a lower price. But it just depends on what you're comfortable giving up for him, right? There have been plenty of good tight ends who've emerged throughout this season so far, but I do think we're at that point in the season where we can't necessarily rely on the waiver wire anymore, at least in terms of these absolute stud tight ends like a Dalton Schultz, right? A Dawson Knox showing up. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think we're pretty cemented at the tight end position for the season. So with that being said, I mean, I don't think it hurts to go out and try and get a guy like Waller. I think it's a good move overall, man. Just don't, I wouldn't give up too much for him. And it would depend on, how the rest of your tight ends are looking as well, James. But it's a great question overall. So week 8 is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of divisional games kicking off tomorrow, or not tomorrow, I should say, kicking off next week. We've got Thursday Night Football, of course. Cardinals and Packers going to be a fun one, man. I'm excited for this week. Excited to get into some Q&A moving out of week 7, which is finally over. I've got no stress tonight, man. Lost one fantasy game, won 2 fantasy games this week, so I feel okay right now. But either way, this game wasn't going to have an impact on any of my fantasy matchups, so I got nothing to worry about. The main thing I'm personally watching in the Saints and Seahawks game is how does Rashad Penny do? I mean, it's a bad matchup overall for Rashad Penny and the rest of these Seahawks running backs, but I personally went out and snagged Penny in my primary league, and I don't have extremely high expectations for this, play or anything, but uh, at the moment, I'm willing to monitor things at least. So we'll see how he does. Right now, he's been getting kind of stuffed left and right. So it hasn't been pretty for Rashad Penny, but that's the main thing I'm looking for in tonight's action. So let me know, guys, in the chat. What are you looking for in tonight's matchup? I love this matchup between Lattimore and DK Metcalf as well. But let me know if there's anything in tonight's game that's going to affect your fantasy rosters, who we're rooting for the catch fam, who we're rooting against, all that good stuff. James, is Devonte going to be out this week? I think he will be. I mean, he's just got placed on the COVID list, and they play Thursday. So my understanding is he has to get 2 negative COVID tests in 2 consecutive 24-hour periods before he can play again. So is it possible? Yes. But more than likely, I do think that Devonte Adams is going to be out this week. It's a great, topic to bring up. Some of the bigger news that we got today for the fantasy week. It's technically possible that Adams could play, but I would assume that he's not going to be out there. So how does that affect things from a fantasy perspective? We talked about Allen Lazard in the waiver wire video. I like him as a wide receiver 2 at the moment, but I don't know if I like him as much as a wide receiver 1. And let's pull up here as well. Let me see if there's any updates on that. I'm going to assume that there's not. Let me see here if I can. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything new popping up here. But overall, man, it's not a great matchup against Arizona for the Packers, but coming on a short week in Thursday Night Football, we might be able to potentially, just due to volume alone and how competitive of a game that this matchup should be, we might be able to stream a guy like Allen Lazard. We'll have to look more into this as the week progresses, but it's definitely a big fantasy update overall. Oh, wow. Gino Smith just threw an interception. Oh, they're going to say incomplete pass. Either way, still a turnover on downs and giving the Saints 2.5 minutes in timeout. The Saints think they have it, and they're going to call that incomplete, I think. But if this was backyard football, yeah, that's definitely an interception. They're going to say didn't have control. That's very close. Very, very close. Anyways, Bryant, what's going on, man? Good to see you tonight. Yeah, it looks like they're gonna call it incomplete and punt the football. So there we go. And basically, that just would have been a better punt return, anyways. Yeah, it would have been a much better punt return, being where Marcus Callaway just fair caught that football. But yeah, Marquez Callaway's been absolutely quiet tonight. And really everyone in this game has been quiet tonight, other than DK Metcalf and to some degree as well. I guess Alvin Kamara. He's somehow racked up 12 points in the first half. Well, at least in half PPR. So in full PPR, he's doing a little bit better. So other than that, not much going on tonight in terms of fantasy. LeBron's brain, these Sunday night and Monday night games for the past 2 weeks are just not it. I don't know, man. That Titans and Bills game was pretty entertaining. I'll at least put that one out there. That was a good football game. And a surprising football game, too, as Alvin Kamara makes another catch. Yeah, Kamara, just one of those players, doesn't need to see the end zone to have a big fantasy night. So we definitely want to keep an eye on Kamara for those of you who own him or have him playing against you. Those are going to be your big highlights of the night, right? The guys who are already going off, DK Metcalf and Alvin Kamara as well. All right, let's see here. James Zhao, who would you play to replace him? Julio, Javonte, Judy, Carter, Mitchell, Jones Jr., Corey Davis, or Moss? Ooh, I want it to be Javonte Williams. I really do, but I still don't know how much confidence we can deploy in him overall. But let's see here. Julio's got a decent matchup against the Colts, but he hasn't really performed over these last 2 weeks. Um, I want to take a pause from Jerry Jeudy, being that he's coming off injury, or else I'd probably roll with him. But I'd say Jones Jr., Javonte Williams, and Mitchell are probably my personal three favorites out of those players, James. I don't mind Moss either. Still have faith in him, but obviously disappointing before the bye week. But if you're looking for another receiver, I think Jones Jr. is the best option. But then I don't mind Javonte Williams or Mitchell as well. And I really didn't think I was going to find myself in position to where I was actually liking Mitchell as an option this fantasy season. But he looked like a true RB1 last night, and that's something that I'm really keeping in mind. All right, XO Shadowless, what's going on? Hope you're doing well tonight. Thanks for coming out to the stream. Let me know if you got any fantasy questions on the night. Jerry, what's up, everyone? What is up, Jerry? Good to see you, my guy. What did everyone have for dinner? I just had some warm soup. There we go. I had chili. You guys want a life hack in terms of chili? Put some Cheez-Its in your chili. It's life-changing, man. All right, let's see here. Digby Dog 9, what's going on, man? Traded DJ Moore for Metcalf, good trade or nah? I mean, if you got Metcalf tonight, yeah, it's looking like the Metcalf winner, or the Metcalf owner is the winner, right? I mean, I still like DJ Moore due to volume, and even if the quarterback play is bad out of Sam Darnold right now, even if the offense as a whole is not playing exactly how we were seeing them play in the first 3 weeks or so, but I'm not giving up on DJ Moore, but at the moment, I do think I'd rather have DK Metcalf overall. Jerry, who has the bigger upside, Lazard or KJ Osborne? I need to make some quick changes to my team. That's a good question, Jerry. I think in terms of upside, it might be Lazard at the moment, especially with Devonte Adams potentially not playing Thursday. So, I mean, I still like KJ Osborne. He's a great wide receiver 3 on the Vikings, man. But I'm actually kind of sold on Lazard overall. All right, let's see what Kamara does here. Another catch. James Kamara with the TD. Did I miss the touchdown? Maybe I got my stats wrong, or maybe I'm a couple plays behind you in tonight's game. I hope I'm not. Now I got to watch. 3rd and 4 is where I'm at. And I see Jameis scrambling, picking up a first down. Jerry, I have 3 waiver pickups. Yeah, I think Lazard, just due to volume, might be a good play there. Brian, should I start Ridley or Debo? That's a great question, man. Let's see here. Jameis dropping back, finds Kamara. Oh my gosh. Dude, Kamara is just going to have a monster night. All right. Ridley or Debo? That is a great question. Let's check the stats here. Ooh, my resources are not, my notes aren't pulled up how I like them. And a first down by Trotman there. I mean, I like both of these players a lot right now. I mean, I know Debo probably should have had a bigger game against Indianapolis, but he still had a great game, right? I mean, 100 receiving yards and a touchdown. I know he had the fumble, but nonetheless, man, at least 17 points, depending on PPR. Chicago, as who the Niners have coming up, and they just got absolutely obliterated by Tampa Bay. So before last week, I mean, Chicago's playing pretty good defensively, but they just did not stand a chance, man. I mean, Tampa Bay did not hold back at all, as now we see Alvin Kamara getting the end zone. So maybe I am a little bit behind. Oh, I am behind. Okay, I fixed my problem. Fixed my problem. Sorry, that was not very good live play-by-plays. Okay, so I like Debo quite a bit. I think that Chicago is probably only going to begin to get worse on the season. But let's take a look at Calvin Ridley as well. He had a good week versus Miami. I mean, 26 receiving yards and a touchdown, so relatively touchdown dependent. Now, the biggest issue with his matchup coming up is that the Panthers might be getting Stephon Gilmore back, who would be lining up on Ridley. Now, regardless, Carolina's secondary has not looked very good over the last couple of weeks. But between Ridley and Debo at the moment, I'm leaning Debo Samuels for sure. All right, a little sip of Waterloo there. Okay, let me catch up here, guys. Christian, who would you rather start, DK or CMC? And who would you rather, DK or JJ? I mean, when healthy, CMC. When not healthy, DK. Between DK and Justin Jefferson, ooh, that's very tough, man. I love me some Justin Jefferson. I think DK has a slightly higher ceiling on a weekly basis, but I think JJ is a safer player overall. Jerry, the stream queue is cutting out on me. I didn't hear what you said about KJ or Lazard. I'd lean Lazard. Yeah, I'd lean Lazard right now. Let's see. KB says Kamara popping off. Yeah, he is our co-host, Steven. Steven, I hope you're not watching. I don't want to send any bad vibes your way, but Steven was down 50 points, and he has Kamara and Metcalf against him. And, okay, maybe it was more like 40 points. Yeah, because now he's only up by 10 points. So Steven is probably somewhere very angry right now. So catch fam, everyone say a prayer for Steven and that DK Metcalf and Alvin Kamara combined for less than 10 points on the rest of the night. Okay, so yeah, Christian, so rest of the season. Okay. Who I think just due to consistency, I lean Justin Jefferson. And then I think due to the injury, I'd lean DK Metcalf between DK and CMC. Ooh, but that's tough. That's tough. Should I do Swift and Mike Williams for CMC and Aaron Jones? I mean, if you have DK and Justin Jefferson on your team, then yes. If you're not, I mean, if you're not hurting at the receiver position, then it's fine. I do think it's a good trade. You're kind of, right away replacing Swift with Aaron Jones, which is pretty equal value. And then outside of that, man, you're getting an upgrade down the stretch with bringing CMC to your team. So I don't mind that trade, Christian. I truly don't. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad trade. No, I mean, just have to keep in mind the amount of upside that you're giving away with Mike Williams. But if you're comfortable with the rest of your receivers, then in terms of improving the running back position, I think it's a good trade for sure. All right, guys. So let me know what's going on with everyone, man. Let me know how everyone is doing. Let me know what questions you guys have got. Moving into week 8. Week 8, man. Gonna be a fun one. All right, let's see here. Oops. Okay, I'm trying to pull up the schedule. So talked about the schedule a little bit last night, but just a reminder. Okay, we got Packers and Cardinals Thursday night football. 1 o'clock games. We got Panthers, Falcons, Titans, Colts, Dolphins, Bills, Bengals, Jets, Steelers, Browns, Eagles and Lions, Rams and Texans, and Niners and Bears. 4 o'clock games, 4:25 games. We got Pats, Chargers, Jags, Seahawks, Bucks, Saints, and the Washington football team and the Denver Broncos. Primetime game, Sunday night football is Cowboys and Vikings, and then the Monday night game next week is the Giants and the Chiefs. So we've got some pretty favorable matchups and a little bit more intriguing matchups overall. Some good divisional games going on as well. We've got the Raiders and the Ravens on bye week, so make sure you guys are keeping that in mind. Bryant, I'm eating noodles, rice, and chicken. Yeah, that sounds good. As I see you quoting the word yummy, that definitely sounds yummy. All right, so let me know, guys, where you're at moving into week 8. I've got some interesting moves I've got to make. Yeah, I've got a couple decisions I've got to make, but nothing too crazy. Now, I do want to pull up here how my lineup's looking here in week 8. Okay. Let's see. I know that I got Lamar Jackson on bye week. I think that my most likely player to drop is going to be Rashad Penny. Does not look great, although The Seahawks get Jacksonville next week, so I could see me dropping him and then Rashad Penny going absolutely off. I mean, my main reason for wanting to pick up Rashad Penny is that this playoff stretch for fantasy is looking like Houston, the Rams, Chicago, and Detroit. It's not great, but Houston and Detroit are sprinkled in there, so that makes it much more attractive overall. I have Bryant. I have Devonte Adams. I'm disappointed, but I'm in trade talks for Tyreek Hill, and I still have Ridley, Johnson, and Debo, so I think I will be fine. Well, I'll say this much, Bryant. Don't overreact to 1 week of Adams being out. Um, I mean, if you have Ridley and Johnson on your team, then you'll get through this week. Okay. Um, I would keep Devonte Adams on your squad, man. I wouldn't give up on him just due to. I mean, he's only going to be out for 1 week. I would be highly surprised if he missed more than 1 week due to his COVID destination. So, um, I mean, I don't mind Tyreek Hill being on your roster, but it looks like Devonte Adams on the season is going to be just a little bit more consistent. So I don't know if I'd make that trade, Bryant. So let me know where your headspace is at with that. All right, so let's see here. I've got Lamar Jackson on bye next week. Who do I have some handcuffs on this fantasy team? I got Devontae Booker at Kansas City, James Robinson at Seattle, questionable Antonio Brown at New Orleans, Tim Patrick at the Washington Football Team, Gesicki at Buffalo, or Dalton Schultz at Minnesota. Then Javonte Williams at Washington, Matt Gay at Houston, which I love right now. I've got the Colts defense versus Tennessee, and which I might be changing. Then I've got Herbert at San Francisco, D. Johnson at Pittsburgh, Rashad Penny at Jacksonville. Lots of handcuff situations going on. An injured David Montgomery and injured Christian McCaffrey. At the moment, I've got Henry Ruggs on my team, but I might have to drop him. I might be dropping Rashad Penny as well. Those are my two guys. I mean, I got to pick up a quarterback. I'm going to try and get Carson Wentz, and I'm trying to drop Rashad Penny for Kenneth Gainwell, right? I mean, I kind of view them in pretty similar fashion, but anyways, Brian, I'll probably trade Ridley and Debo for Hill. Who do you have enough receiver depth outside of Ridley and Debo? Right? Stacking Adams and Hill is fine. It's going to be great, as a matter of fact. But at the same time, having Ridley, having Debo, and having Devonte Adams might be more beneficial than just having Adams and Hill. I know it's a little bit flashier to have Adams and Hill on the same squad, and the ceiling on a weekly basis is going to be crazy. But Debo's still been a top 5 fantasy receiver. I mean, definitely a top 10, depending on scoring format. And I do think Ridley's going to continue to improve. And overall, man, so you've got Johnson and Waddle. So I'm assuming Deontay Johnson and Waddle. I mean, you've still got depth, but do you hear what I'm saying? I mean, maybe it's going to hurt your roster in the long run if you give up both those guys. This is my only concern. But at the same time, the ceiling that you get on a weekly basis from Tyreek Hill and Devonte Adams would be absolutely wild. So, I mean, I don't mind it, but I kind of lean towards depth, especially at this point in the season, right? With guys like Devonte Adams missing a week, right? With bye weeks kind of alternating, right? A lot of injuries going on. And I see you saying I'll probably hold. I mean, if you've got the conviction, then I don't know. I mean, the Chiefs could take off at any point in time again, right? So I don't know if you'll be able to trade for Tyreek Hill again on the season. So I don't want to talk you out of it, but at the same time, the Chiefs have looked relatively disappointing as of late. So, and Ridley's been fine, but Debo's been fantastic. I mean, I would almost argue that Debo's just about as valuable as Tyreek Hill at this point in the fantasy season. I mean, it's crazy to say out loud, but that's kind of where we're at right now, right? All right, let's see here. So let me find here. I mean, yeah, Tyreek Hill, only 6 receptions last week, 49 receiving yards, and then that 17-yard rush. The week before against Washington, he had a touchdown, 76 receiving yards, and 9 receptions. Versus Buffalo 3 weeks ago, 7 receptions, 63 receiving yards. And then, really, I mean, he had that monster game versus the Eagles where he had 3 touchdowns, 186 receiving yards week 1. He had 197 receiving yards and a touchdown, but that's still 1, 2 weeks, 3, 4 weeks with no touchdowns, and then only 2 weeks with more than 100 receiving yards. And don't get me wrong, he could have weeks like he did against the Eagles at any point. I mean, I'm not, downgrading Tyreek Hill by any chance. He still probably offers the highest ceiling at the position in all of fantasy football. But when we look at Debo, it's pretty equal. It's actually pretty equal, right? I mean, you could compare his performance against the Seahawks, 156 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns, kind of to Tyreek's monster day. But outside of that, he's got, let's see, only 3 games without a score, so a little bit better. And then he's had at least 50 receiving yards in every game, and he's actually topped 100 receiving yards more this season than Tyreek Hill has. So they're actually pretty comparable overall, at least so far on the season. So that's just food for thought, man. Maybe it's better to have the depth of Ridley and Debo down the stretch. All right, let's see here, man. Let me get caught up with you guys. Brian, I have Kyler Murray as my starter and Lamar as my backup somehow. I could trade Lamar and Debo or Ridley and get Burrow off waivers. You could, or you could just roll with Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson, which is absolutely crazy, right? I mean, I would be more inclined to trade Lamar Jackson and Calvin Ridley. I mean, if you can get Tyreek Hill for Lamar Jackson and Calvin Ridley, then I would do that, absolutely. But I would not give up Deebo Samuel right now, man, the way he's been playing on a consistent basis. And just being able to pair Devonte Adams, Deebo Samuel, and Tyreek Hill in the season, that might lead you to a championship, man, especially if you've got Kyler Murray as your starter, and then you can, pick up Joe Burrow as well. I like that idea more than trading Deebo Samuel and Calvin Ridley for Tyreek Hill. Justin Young, I need 3.2 more points from Callaway. Come on. I think you've got a good shot, although he's been pretty quiet in the first half. I mean, he gets 2 receptions and you're probably going to win. So as long as it's full PPR, right? So I think you definitely got a good shot, Justin. And, Catch Fam is rooting for you. Everyone say a prayer for Justin and his fantasy matchup. John Eric Mayer, what's going on, my guy? What's up, man? What are your thoughts on Lazard? He played well this week, but do you think he's worthy of dropping AJ Green for him? Yes, we talked about this a little bit in the waiver wire stream earlier today. And then also with the news of Devonte Adams being placed on the COVID list for the week, and it's a short week. The Packers will be kicking off Thursday night with the Cardinals. So I think due to volume alone, with Adams more than likely being out, and looking at the performance, yeah, I like Lazard right now. Is he worth dropping AJ Green over? Potentially, yeah, potentially. I mean, listen, man. Every year we're looking for, the number 2 receiver on the Packers, right? And it doesn't ever seem to happen. So I don't want to trust consistency out of Lazard, but I think he's still worth taking a swing on. And that was before the COVID designation for Devonte Adams. So now with that factor added for this week alone, yes. And, a lot less mouths to feed on that offense than there is on the Cardinals. So, I like AJ Green, and he's been very consistent. So, I'll just keep in mind, I don't know how consistent Lazard's going to be on the year. Cash Stylist, my opponent needs Alvin Kamara to have 42 points to win. I'm going to be so angry if he does it. He sure might. He might. But I'd be more inclined to see him finish around the 30 mark, but we'll see what happens. Jerry, should I drop Nico Collins for Lazard? I would. Yeah, I absolutely would, Jerry. 100%. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. Had to look at something there. Okay, Brendan Dye. Rank these in order. What's going on, Brendan? Always good to see you, my guy. Hope you're doing well. Good to have you here in the stream tonight. Rank these in order: Woods, Tony, Jerry, Judy. I would put Woods number one, 100%. Then Jerry, Judy, then Kadarius, Tony. At this point in the season, that's where I'm leaning right now. Christian, I have Aaron Jones and got sent him for Swift. Should I do it? Ooh, I don't quite know. I don't quite know if I'd do that. Yeah, I don't quite know if I'd do that. Brandon, Kareem Hunt for Josh Jacobs. Yeah, I'd take Josh Jacobs out of that trade. Just due to looking at the health factor overall, I'd take Jacobs. Rendon Dye, I might trade Devonte Williams, Woods, and Miles Sanders for Diggs. As long as you're comfortable with the running back position outside of Javonte Williams, and well, even if you leave Woods, you can replace him right away with Diggs. So I don't mind that trade, Rendon. I don't. Bryant, should I get Uzma? Yeah, I'm sold on Uzma at this point. But just keep in mind, right? He is a little bit low floor, high ceiling type of a player. A little bit of boomer bust potential, in there as well as Jameis Winston throws to Kamara for like the 20th time tonight. A little bit of boom bust involved in their Uzma, but when this guy booms, he booms big. So I think at this point, the way that the Bengals are playing football right now, he's worth picking up. He's probably the last solid tight end I think we're going to be able to pick up on the season, but we'll find out. Brandon, thank you, bro. Absolutely, man. Yeah, guys, make sure everyone hits that like button on your way in. Let's try and get as many new viewers to the stream as possible tonight. If you guys are new here, make sure you hit that sub button down below. Become part of the Catch fam tonight. As we see Jameis Winston dropping back on 3rd and 2, finding nobody. Tries to find Kamara. Does not make the connection there. Okay. Jerry, I have waivers for Uzma, Boss, Wentz, and Lazard. I really hope I get at least 2 of them. I think you probably got a good shot. Those are great waivers for the week, Jerry. Absolutely good waivers overall. Rendon Dye, I have Swift, CMC, Barkley, Damon Harris. I think I might do the trade. Ooh. Yeah, I think you're good then, Rendon. I mean, you can start Swift and Damon Harris for the time being, right? So I don't mind that at all. And then obviously down the stretch, you got CMC and Barkley. So getting that value of Diggs, I think, will absolutely help your roster right away. So I like the trade, Rendon. Jerry, how should I order my waivers? Uzma for Seals Jones, Bass for Q, Lazard for Collins, and Wentz for Peoples Jones. I would leave Wentz at the bottom. He's probably the least likely to get picked up, I would think. Ooh. It depends, Jerry, on what position. I see you asking what's more important. It depends on what position you're hurting at the most, right? Um, so if you're hurting the most at wide receiver, then I would probably swap Lazard to the number 1 or number 2 spot. It's someone out there is probably going to waiver in for Boss, though, is kind of the problem. So let me know where you're hurting the most in that particular league, and that's probably what's going to be what determines that for you, Jerry. Brandon, be blessed, big bro. You too, man. I appreciate you coming through to the stream, and be blessed as well, my guy. All right, guys. Yeah, Jerry, I think it just depends on what part of that roster is hurting the most overall. But I think Lazard might be a hot waiver wire ad this week. We'll find out. And I mean, I think Uzma probably will be as well. So definitely going to have to figure out what's going to be the biggest priority for your own roster, right? So it's hard to say. We'll figure things out for you, though, Jerry. All right, guys. Let me know what's going on, man. Let me know everyone's doing. Let me know what you got for week 8. Gotta be a good week. Jerry, I'm hurting on wide receiver, and I don't really need an upgrade on tight end, but I won't say no to Uzma. I would go Lazard, Boss, Uzma, and Wentz last because there's going to be other options if you don't get Wentz. Between Lazard and Uzma, they're probably going to be the most beneficial to you. Bass is Bass, so you can't say no to that, right? I mean, you could put Bass number 2 as well, but I think if you're hurting the most at receiver, you put Lazard number 1. All right, let's see here. Mark, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well tonight. Thanks for coming out to the stream. Start 3, Mike Evans, Tyler Lockett, Antonio Brown, and Damian Harris. This is a good question. Man. I mean, obviously, we have to monitor Antonio Brown's health, apparently. But he gets New Orleans this week, which is a great matchup. And I just think the way that the Bucs are playing football right now, you want to start Antonio Brown because Lattimore is going to be on either Godwin or Evans, right? So I just think the upside that he offers is absolutely gnarly, and AB should be in your lineup as long as he's healthy. Obviously, if he's not healthy, then the decision makes itself, right? Let's see here. Damian Harris and the New England Patriots are going to be going up against the Chargers. It's actually quite a good matchup. The Chargers have been very bad against opposing running backs, and the way Damian Harris has played over the last 2 weeks, I think you start Damian Harris as well. And then, it's interesting with Mike Evans, right? He's kind of due for a little bit of a slower game overall, coming off of a 3-touchdown game, and once again going up against the Saints. But he's a top 15 receiver, if not higher, depending on scoring format. I'm a little worried Lattimore is going to line up on Evans. And I mean, I know it could be risky to start 2 quarterbacks, overall. I mean, 2 wide receivers against the same defense, overall. But I think Tyler Lockett's the odd man out. I mean, he's just not seeing a crazy amount of targets as he just caught a football coincidentally on in tonight's game. But it seems like DK Metcalf has the better chemistry with Gino Smith. I think Lockett might be the odd man out there, but I'm definitely starting AB and Harris. I am a little worried about Mike Evans coming off of such a good performance and potentially being lined up against Lattimore, although we could potentially see Lattimore and Godwin, so it could go either way there. Let me know if that was helpful, Mark. Let me know if you got any other questions on the night as well. Jerry, Bass is Bass, so you can't say no to that. Yeah, fair enough. I'm going with your call. Uzma's number 2 and Bass is number 3. I mean, here's the thing, man. Even if you end up with Younghoe Q and not Tyler Bass, you've still got probably a top 5 kicker on the year, right? So it doesn't hurt your fantasy roster in terms of value too much, but getting kind of an X factor tight end as well as a new receiver for your team is probably going to be more beneficial down the road overall. So that's where I'm at with that one, Jerry. Brian, I feel bad for one of my players in my league. He had Montgomery and CH and Kittle. I feel bad for him too. As an owner who drafted Gus Edwards 24 hours before he was marked out for the year, who also drafted David Montgomery and Christian McCaffrey, I feel bad for that owner as well. Injuries have been for real this man. They really have. Aaron Reborn, someone offered me Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, and Zach Ertz for my Hunt, Carson, Robinson, and Shepard, so I took it. That was an overpay on his behalf. So you ended up with Allen, D-Hop, and Zach Ertz. You gave away an injured Hunt and injured Carson, a worthless Allen Robinson, no offense, Allen Robinson, and Sterling Shepard, who's been banged up as well. So I don't mind that trade at all. Now, down the stretch, could that benefit the other owner? Yeah, it definitely could. But in the given moment, I think he did win the trade. Man, Marshawn Lattimore and DK Metcalf just going at it tonight. I love it. Mark says, great. Absolutely, man. I'm glad that was helpful, my guy. Let me know if you got any other questions on the night. Jerry, that's what I was thinking. I don't mind having Q. Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Bass might finish as the fantasy number 1 kicker, but quite frankly, Q could finish there as well. So Yeah, I wouldn't beat yourself up too much if you end up with Q as your number one kicker. And like I said, you know, getting a tight end you feel confident in and getting a receiver who you can start on a weekly basis is probably going to be more beneficial overall for you. Jason Kenobi, what's going on, man? It's always good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let's see here. Daryl, Henderson, or Patterson rest of the season. Keep in mind, Patterson got his bye over with. Gosh, that's tough. That's tough, man. Listen, Daryl Henderson has just a fantastic stretch coming up. Uh, you know, arguably a much better offense as well in comparison to the Falcons. But you guys know I love my guy Cordero Pounder and Cheese. Who, I mean, I think I'm leaning Daryl Henderson here in terms of consistency, but I do think that Patterson still offers a crazy high ceiling. I think I'll lean Henderson, but that's very, very tough, Jason. Emily, with Devonte Adams out this Thursday, Aaron or Alan Lazard or Randall Cobb in PPR. Yeah, I could see Cobb going off. It's a good point to bring up, but I'm still leaning Alan Lazard here. Okay. It's a tough call because the Cardinals defense has been pretty good on the season, so it is tough. But their secondary hasn't been fantastic, right? In some matchups they have been, but overall they've been great. I think I'm still leaning Lazard, but it's going to be really hard to trust these Green Bay Packers wide receivers. It's already been hard enough to trust them if their name's not Devonte Adams. So an interesting note on this matchup with Devonte Adams out. Coming off of his best game of the season is Robert Tonyan. You guys know how much I love Tonyan in the offseason and preseason. I could actually see Tonyan potentially taking up some of these targets. So that's another guy to keep in mind as well at the tight end position, of course. But I think I'm leaning Alan Lazard out of the two. But I'm not going to be surprised if St. Brown goes off or if Randall Cobb goes off. I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see. But I think Lazard coming off of a strong performance is probably the best start at the receiver position. Aaron Reborn, I'm going to try and get Aaron Jones because especially with Adams out for the week, he will get a lot of targets. Yeah, that's true as well. And I mean, that's another good point, right? Is that the run game will probably be leaned on a little bit more. And AJ Dillon as well as Aaron Jones will probably see more involvement in the pass game as well. So I think it's a good plan, Aaron Reborn, for sure. All right, Jason Myers gearing up to kick a field goal to tie this football game. We'll see what happens here. 4th and 4, 44-yard attempt. Lots of fours on the screen, and it is no good. A little bit of a rainy game, so that could have some factors here, but no good. No tie football game. Saints are up 10-7. 8 minutes, 43 seconds left in the third quarter. Man, I thought he was going to make that. Yep, no good, though. All right, guys, let's see here. Jerry, did Steven lose? Let me see here. I don't quite know if he's lost just yet. Let's find out, though. Sorry, Jerry. I can't believe I bought a Peyton Manning jersey on the stream last night. I mean, I can, but I also can't. Steven is still up by 9 points. Or actually, to be more specific, 8.8 points. So he hasn't lost yet. I mean, I held on last night. It was a close one, but I mean, Steven actually, everyone pray for Steven, but Steven actually had a pretty bad week, but he had Jamar Chase. It's like, and then he also had Tua, who had a good week. And other than that, I had Chris Godwin as well. So Chris Godwin, Jamar Chase, Tua, then Melvin Gordon were his best plays. Other than that, everyone he started had 6.6 points or less, except for the Rams defense, who had 7 points. So he had a rough week, man. Shout out to Steven, man. We wish you the best in this matchup tonight, though. Let's see here. I can't believe I got that win last night. That was crazy for you guys who were watching. That was just bonkers. All right, let's see. I'm excited for the rest of this game, man. I truly am. Truly am. I don't know why. I'm very excited to watch Gino Smith on the night. Jerry, Steven had a bad week in the Catch Fam League. Yeah, mean, he's kind of relying on, you know, our guy Derrick Henry in that league. So, Jerry, man, we're looking okay out here, bro. I don't know. I was about to say, bro, in the Catch Fam League. I mean, we got some good teams out there. Jason Kenobi balled out this week. We're looking okay out here at Catch Fam. Yeah, we got some big points. Chase put up 133 points. Our boy, my guy Straw Hat Luffy 23, as he goes by in the Catch Fam League. Jimmy G Strengths, another good week for him, 127 points. So yeah, we got some high scoring teams in the Catch Fam League, man. Uh, Jai Lord, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well tonight. Let's see here. I traded the Bills and Sutton for Daryl Henderson. Excuse me. Is that a good trade? I would say so, yes. Especially if you're hurting at the running back position. I mean, there's going to be plenty of opportunities for you to stream, you know, other defenses throughout the leagues, and the Bills will have tough matchups, you know, against good teams on the season as well. So I think it's good leverage and sense of using a defense to trade for, right, or trade with, I should say. So I like that move. And then, I mean, as long as you're comfortable with the receiver position and losing Sutton doesn't hurt you too much, then I don't have a problem with that trade at all. I think it's a good use of the Bills defense in a trade. And overall, yeah, I don't mind that trade at all, man. I think it's a pretty good trade, to be honest with you. I would love to trade for Daryl Henderson right now. I mean, let me pull up this stretch that the Rams are about to go on, man, because it's going to be a good stretch, right? And I mean, part of it started this week with Detroit. And I mean, I know Henderson didn't have a great week, but the game script just wasn't there. The Lions actually showed up. So, nonetheless, man, we were expecting just knocked the camera. My bad, guys. We were expecting a much better game versus the Lions, and we didn't get it. But it is what it is, right? And then before, you know, last week he had last week he had the Giants. Week before that he had Seattle. Okay, but nonetheless, looking forward, right? He's got Houston, then Tennessee, and then San Fran, which are all good matchups. So I do like where Daryl Henderson is quite a bit, man. And I think you know, some of these leagues are some of these matchups coming up are just going to continue to show how well he can perform, even if he did not perform well this past week. Outside of this past week, when healthy and you know, when he is a starter, he has had sorry, I was watching the game here. Incomplete pass there. But yeah, Daryl Henderson has had, depending on scoring format, of course, at least 14 fantasy points in every game this year, other than week 7 and week 3. So now he gets Houston, number 20 against opposing running backs. Tennessee, I mean, uh, overall, number 7 against opposing running backs, but that's a game where I look for him to find the end zone, you know, towards, you know, getting some red zone carries. And San Fran, kind of middle of the pack, number 17 against the position. Then they get a bye week. Then Green Bay, Jacksonville, Arizona. And then some pretty good playoff matchups: Seattle, Minnesota, and Baltimore. So yes, I like Daryl Henderson on the season, to answer your question. And yes, I do think it's a good trade. Thank you for the question. Oh wow, drop football there. Is that Kenny Stills? Should have been a catch, man. That was a good football. Oh, I gotta rewatch this. 3rd and 13. Some of these footballs that Jameis and Gino have been putting out tonight that have been dropped have been pretty good throws. Oh man, I would say that's a drop by Kenny. All right, let's see here. Jerry, would you do a Fournette and Andrews for Elliott and Gasecki? I'm asking for another league. Can't tell if you're asking for another league or not. Oh, I think you are, because I own Gasecki. Oh wait, I own Elliott and Gasecki. Okay, the winner of that trade is Elliott and Gasecki. So no, I would not. But I mean, quite honestly, it's a relatively fair trade in terms of the upside that Andrews provides, and in terms of the volume that Fournette is getting on a weekly basis. But I'm still personally leaning Elliott and Gasecki there. Um, and I'm assuming, Jerry, that you're not asking for another league, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong. Still a good question nonetheless. So, All right, guys, let me know what's going on for the night. Let me know how everyone is doing, man. How do you guys feel about week 7? A little week 7 recap. I mean, we did, you know, the full recap last night reaction, but let me know what you guys thought about week 7. I mean, the biocalypse is over, guys. It's coming to an end as we speak, as we watch this game, right? So let me know, how do you feel about week 8? Are you affected by bye weeks in week 8? Let me know if there's anything going on in this football game tonight. Kamara, Metcalf, Winston, uh, Gino Smith, I don't know, Marquez Callaway. How is this game affecting you guys? Let me know as well. All right. Aaron Reborn, the other reason I did that trade, because if I trade Kelsey, I at least got Hurts. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, man. All right, let's see here. All right, so I should be dropping our must start defensive videos, our video for the week tonight after the stream. So make sure you guys watch that out or check that out as well, I should say. Or it might be dropped first thing in the morning. We'll find out. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Of course, Steven does that video. And I know you guys have been missing Steven, man. He misses you guys too. And he will definitely be on tomorrow night's stream as well. So make sure you guys look out for that. And then we should have our must start kickers dropping right away to start the week as well. I did do a waiver wire must add stream earlier today, so make sure you guys go back and watch that as well. It's not too crazy long, but tried to go pretty in depth for you guys as well. All right, Aaron Reborn, should I trade Waller and Metcalf for Henry? Wow, it depends on the rest of your roster, Aaron Reborn, but I would say yes. Not even looking at your roster, yes, it's definitely worth it. I lean with the running back position, but nonetheless, man, yes, it's definitely worth considering, being that you'd be receiving Derrick Henry, right? So my immediate reaction is yes. But let me know your full roster, Aaron Reborn. Man, every time the Seahawks offense comes out, I just start wanting to watch Metcalf and Lattimore line up against each other. Yeah, the Saints defense is only allowed at 18 points per game through the first 5 games, which is 4th in the NFL. Alex Collins coming back into this game. I'm not surprised to see this. Rashad Penny looked a little out of shape. Looked a little not fully. I mean, I don't want to say not fully healthy, but just didn't look like he was entirely back yet. So um, I'm not surprised that Alex Collins is in this game. I actually thought he would get in the game a little bit sooner. Jerry, what is Steven up to? Let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry. Steven has got a big exam coming up for work, so he has got to study for that like every waking second of his life. But he'll be back soon, guys. I promise. He definitely misses being on here. Joe, 4-3, lost by 2 points because my defense got me 3 points. I need a good defense for the rest of season. We have limited roster moves, so we can't stream defense. Would you pick up Cowboys or Chargers? I would pick up the Cowboys hands down, Joe. It's a great question. I mean, the Chargers are one of those interesting defenses that they have good performances and they seem like a scary defense, but really, when you look at the stats overall, it just hasn't quite been there, right? Um, uh, Interesting thing with the Cowboys is they can give up a lot of points, but from a fantasy perspective, they still put up consistent fantasy, points overall. So, Joe, I would lean the Cowboys all day long, man, all day long. Great question though, Joe. And yeah, especially if you have limited, uh, you know, uh, options in terms of how many moves you can make. I'm sorry, I was trying to piece together that sentence. The Cowboys have been consistent all year long, and like I said, even if they give up, 24 points, 31 points, whatever it is, they can still come out of a game with 8 to 10 fantasy points. Is an interesting thing. So I would definitely lean with the Cowboys, Joe. Aaron Reborn, it's a catch fan one. Stephen 0-2 is going to see if he would do it. He might at this point. You never know. Jerry, Lockett with another disappointing game. Yeah, I do think, unfortunately, Lockett is uh, on the negative side of things of this injury to Russell Wilson, but not too much longer until Wilson comes back is the good news. Face Tinfoil, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Just lost because of Kamara was up by 30. Oh, yikes. I'm sorry, man. Sorry to hear that. It's a tough break. Yeah, it's a tough break, man. There's still time left in the season, so you'll be good, my guy. Lou Triple D, should I trade Moss and Fant for Javonte and Schultz? Face Tinfoil says yes. I don't mind that trade. I don't mind it. I feel like the Broncos are trending a little bit downward, where the Cowboys are probably going to be a little bit of a better team offensively. Although I do think Michael Gallup coming back could affect some of Dalton Schultz's productivity. But overall, man, I mean, I do like Zach Moss on the season a lot, but I do think eventually we're going to see Javonte Williams break out and, take over that backfield, right? At the moment, he's playing fine. Melvin Gordon's playing fine, but I just think Williams, this is just a personal conviction of mine. I think Williams is going to be the better back on the season, but we'll find out. If you've got more conviction, man, in Javonte Williams and Schultz, then I think it's a good trade. I think it's a fair trade as well. Jerry, good to see Steven doing big things. Yes, shout out Steven. Shout out Steven. He will be on tomorrow night. He's looking forward to it. I know that much. Phase Tinfoil. Should I trade away Edmonds, Deonte, and Jacobs for Jonathan Taylor? I'd say no. I'd say no. I mean, that's a lot of value. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's been great. He's trending in the exact right direction. Don't get me wrong. But overall, that's a lot of value to lose for one player, right? I mean, I think Josh Jacobs, when healthy, I mean, he had 15 points in that first half of the football game yesterday against Philly before he got hurt. And, I think he could have several more performances where he's putting up 15 points in the first half. I mean, problem with Josh Jacobs, of course, is him staying healthy, right? But, Chase Edmonds, I know, hasn't been crazy productive or anything. I mean, there's so many mouths to feed on that offense, and he's really getting his value from a PPR standpoint. But nonetheless, the depth is still there for your roster, right? He's still a guy you can flex in and not necessarily have to worry or at least hope for a good ceiling of about 10 points, right? Which isn't great, but it still adds that good depth, right? And then Deontay Johnson, I do have faith in still at the receiver position as a wide receiver one. He's been quite consistent on the year. So I wouldn't do it unless you're benching those three players on a weekly basis, right? If you're benching Edmonds, Deontay Johnson, and Josh Jacobs on a weekly basis, then you can consider it. But I would argue probably the players that you would turn around to add to your roster then to replace, at least two of those guys, right? Probably wouldn't add as much value. Okay. So I think it's a better trade for whoever's getting the actual depth, right? But if you've got the conviction, Jonathan Taylor, I don't want to talk you out of it. I would just look at how much depth you're giving up there because I lean high depth here, man. As I see you now saying, what if I take out Deonte for Brandon Cooks? My wide receivers are Deonte, Diggs, Jamar, Jefferson, and Cooks. Okay, your receivers are stacked. I mean, obviously you're starting Diggs, Jamar, Chase, and Jefferson on a weekly basis. So if you have to, you can leverage Deontay Johnson. I'll be honest, the player that I hate to see you lose the most out of those guys is Josh Jacobs, right? I mean, now looking at your receivers, I think it's okay. It's okay. But I hate to see you lose Josh Jacobs. I still think he's going to have some very good stat lines on the season. Whew. I mean, I would assume you'd have to give up Jacobs and Edmonds to still make the trade. But if you can make it Edmonds, Johnson, and Cooks for Jonathan Taylor, then I think you get a steal, man. Jerry, I'm going to the theaters tomorrow night to watch the new Halloween movie. Nice. I heard it was entertaining. I heard it wasn't great by any means, but I heard it was entertaining and definitely, to get in the festive season and everything. That definitely sounds like a good plan, man. I'm trying to go see the new Dune. I thought about going today. My wife and I are actually off on Mondays, and I thought about going today, but we had just a lot of little house chores and things to do. But I really want to go see the new Dune in movies. I've heard that it's fantastic. Heard that it's beautiful. I heard that the visuals are fantastic, and I heard that it is a movie that you have to go see in theaters. So That's where I want to go, or what I want to go see, Jerry. All right, let's see here. Senior Cinnabon, what's going on? Always good to have you here, my guy. As Adam Trotman just fumbled the football, it looks like. Uh-oh. Let's see. High catch going into this game today. I was losing by 20 points with only Kamara left, and my opponent had the Saints defense. And right now, he is 3 points in the lead. I'm crossing my fingers. Yikes. Yikes. That's going to be a close one. That was like me last night having Deebo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell against me up by 30 and having the Colts defense on my roster. That was crazy if you were on last night's stream, guys. That was still, I can't believe that happened. And I actually won that game. But it's going to be close for you. We definitely, everyone say a prayer for Senior Cinnabon and his fantasy matchup. We will definitely see what happens, man. So the Seahawks get the football here. So that helps you, Senior Cinnabon, keeping Kamara off the field. So you're losing. I mean, I think actually, Cinnabon, I think you're going to be fine. If you have Kamara and he has the Saints defense, I think you're okay. I think at first I was looking at that as you had Kamara against you. Oh, yeah, but your opponent has Saints defense. I think you're fine. Yeah, I think you're fine. Absolutely. I absolutely think the Seahawks will score some more amount of points in this game, whether it's 7 points or 3 points or 10 points. I don't know if it's going to be much, but nonetheless, I think Kamara will get you enough points to win this football game the way he's playing tonight. So I think you're good, my guy. Jerry, Dune is so long, nearly 2.5 hours. Yeah. It's a very, very long book. I don't know if this is going to be like they're going to do several movies or not. But nonetheless, I'm down for it, man. I'm absolutely down for it. I've heard it's fantastic. And I'm into it, man. I'm absolutely into it. So I'm hoping to go see it, Jerry, even if I have to sit there for 2.5 hours. Evan, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well tonight. Should I trade Chub for Najee? That's a great question. I view both of these guys in pretty similar fashion, although Chubb has been hurt. So I could go back and forth on that one, right? Chubb's been hurt, which affects things, right? He's got, Kareem Hunt when healthy in that backfield, and now Ernest Johnson is apparently a stud as well. So maybe there's more competition for Chubb. I view both these offenses are not necessarily amazing, but they're not bad. So I think you just roll with whoever you have more conviction in. I mean, I love Nick Chubb on the season. I still think he could be one of the a top 5 running back on the season, but I also think that Najee Harris, respectively, could also be a top 5 running back on the season. So I don't mind the trade at all. If you feel better about Najee Harris overall and how the Steelers will look on the rest of the season, then I don't mind the trade whatsoever. Let's look and see here. Who do the Browns have coming up? Let's figure that out. As Gino drops back on 3rd and 10 and almost throws an interception and complete pass. Okay, so the Browns have Pittsburgh next week, your number 6 team, against running backs, then Cincinnati, then New England. So tough 3 weeks. Then after that, they get Detroit, Baltimore, a bye week, Baltimore, Las Vegas. That is a beautiful stretch. But in the playoffs, they have Green Bay and Pittsburgh to end things, which is a bad stretch overall. Let's take a quick look at who the Steelers got coming up. If I can't get this pulled up here, let's see. I mean, I think I'm leaning Najee Harris, but there's some good matchups coming up for the Browns as well. Okay, so out the gate, Najee Harris has Cleveland and Chicago, 2 tough matchups, but then Detroit, the Chargers, a tough matchup versus Cincy, then Baltimore, Minnesota, Tennessee, Kansas City. So it's relatively equal, but those 2 matchups, week 10 and week 11 for Najee Harris against Detroit and the Chargers basically make Najee Harris the lock for that trade. So I think I'd lean Najee Harris. And I think I personally have a little bit more conviction in Harris on the season, but I love me some Nick Chubb, man. I got nothing bad to say about Nick Chubb whatsoever. All right, let's see here. Joe says Najee all the way. I don't mind that pick whatsoever. Joshua Higbee or Ertz? Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. Both on 2 of the, most explosive offenses in the league that both have plenty of mouths to feed. Ooh, this is tough. Let us know in the chat for Joshua. Would you lean Tyler Higbee or Zach Ertz on the rest of the season? I love both of these guys, man. I actually view them in relatively similar fashion, to be honest. But I mean, both their offenses are fantastic. I mean, Ertz looked great. Granted, he was playing against the Texans, who are the 31st worst team against opposing tight ends in the league right now. For some reason, I'm leaning Higbee on this one. I mean, I don't have a great reason why. I just think that I'm leaning Higbee there. Let us know in the chat, man. Higbee or Ertz for Joshua? Over G, Ridley, AJ Brown, Marquise Brown, Tony, Michael Thomas, rest of season rankings, 1 through 5. Okay. I'm putting Marquise Hollywood Brown number 1. I still have a lot of faith in Hollywood Brown and this Ravens offense. And then I'm leading AJ Brown number 2, man. He's getting that point in the season. Does this every year. Starts off slow, then just takes off. I think he's taking off right now. Then I'm putting Ridley, and Ridley is going to be extremely consistent. I would not worry about him whatsoever. Then I'm going to go with Kadarius Toney and then Michael Thomas. I don't have a lot of conviction in Michael Thomas. I mean, I think you could argue back and forth between Toney or Thomas for 4 and 5, but I definitely go Hollywood, AJ Brown, and Ridley as the top 3. Evan, thank you. Absolutely, man. That's what we are here for. Guys, make sure you hit that like button down below. Make sure if you guys are new here, you consider subscribing, becoming part of the Catch fam. But I do appreciate everyone coming out and hanging out for a bit tonight. You guys are killing it in the chat tonight. All right. Jerry, making a risky waiver pickup on the Catch fam league. I mean, I think you can afford a little bit of risk, Jerry, the way your team's rolling right now. Jerry Myers at the 50-yarder. Yeah, I did see that. That was a little crazy. CEG1212, what's going on, my guy? I hope you're doing well tonight. Do I do this trade? I get Aaron Rodgers, Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs. I trade away Tannehill, Tyreek, Devontae, Booker, and DK. What do you think? Booker won't be the starter soon. No, I wouldn't do that trade. I wouldn't do that trade. No. I mean, unless you're absolutely desperate at the quarterback position, I wouldn't do that trade, quite frankly. I think that the combination of Tyreek Hill and DK Metcalf is going to be better than the combination of Keenan Allen and Stephon Diggs. And I like Keenan Allen and Stephon Diggs quite a bit. But, and I mean, I see you saying that, Booker's not going to be the starter soon. But you can still ride out Devontae Booker until he's not the starter because the Giants have been so banged up that they're relying on him. And he's putting up 10-plus fantasy points a week in Barkley's absence. So I wouldn't do that trade, quite frankly, right? And you're losing 4 players and gaining 3. I wouldn't lose faith in Tyreek Hill. DK Metcalf has the chemistry with Gino Smith, apparently. He's going to be just fine when Russell comes back. I mean, I love Diggs. I love Keenan Allen. I think Aaron Rodgers is probably going to play better on the season than Ryan Tannehill. But still, personally, I wouldn't do that trade, CEG. It's a great question, though. Let me know if you have any more thoughts on that. Let me know where your headspace is at overall with that trade. Joshua is rocking with Higbee since day one, but I think Ertz can give 10-plus on any given Sunday. Feel kind of confident with Ertz because they traded for him, so they probably have intentions for him. And Jerry says, yeah, same here. If you've got the conviction in Ertz, then I would recommend rolling with Ertz. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever, man. And you're absolutely right. I mean, they did trade for him for a reason. I mean, obviously, Max Williams getting injured had an impact there as well. But you're right. I think that they probably do have plans for Zach Ertz. Absolutely. So, yeah, I'm good at that, man. Jerry, how is everyone feeling about week 8 there? Let me know how you guys are feeling confidence-wise moving into week 8 and just in general. What games are you looking forward to? What matchups are you not looking forward to? What matchups are going to work in your favor? Let me know what you guys got going on for week 8. I feel pretty okay about week 8. I face in my personal league one of the best teams in the league, and this would be a massive win on the season for me. I just pulled off a win that I absolutely needed. So I need this win this week as well. This would be huge for my fantasy squad, especially with how many injuries I have and Lamar Jackson being on bye week. This would be a huge, huge win. In the Catch Fam League, I need this win just as much. As you know, we're just starting and we're only 2 games through, so I feel pretty good about my matchup. And then my 20-man league, guys, I might be toast in my 20-man league. For those of you who care, it's not looking good. CJ, I have Devonte, so I would be getting the stack. I don't mind that. I don't. And I do think, you can essentially CJ. So I would have Devonte Adams. So I really don't need Tyreek that much. Fair enough. If you've got conviction in the trade, then don't let me be the deciding factor. I'm just giving you my overall thoughts and how I would feel things out as well. I mean, essentially, yeah, you can replace Tyreek Hill with Stephon Diggs, and then you can replace DK with Keenan Allen. Although I think DK is going to offer a little bit of a higher ceiling. And I mean, quite frankly, as much as I like Stephon Diggs and as much as the Chiefs have been playing poorly, I still think Tyreek Hill offers a higher ceiling. And then, I mean, you get an upgrade at the quarterback position is really, in my eyes, the only, benefit out of that trade. So just my food for thought. But if you got the conviction, man, I think you go for it. Yeah, I don't want to talk you out of it. Jerry, is Tanyan a good pickup? We kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, right? I do think for this week, it's worth rolling the dice on Tanyan as we're expecting Devonte Adams to not play. And I think some of those targets, especially in the red zone, could lean Tanyan's way. He's coming off his best game of the season, right? But he's been so disappointing on the year. I just don't know if I have faith in it, man. I just don't know if I'm quite there. I really don't. I want to, but I mean, I think it's worth a thought. And I think he'll probably last through the waivers and we can give a little bit more time to think about this. But it's definitely intriguing. I'll put it that way. Joshua, one more question. If Saquon returns this week, who should I start at flex? Barkley or Deontay Johnson? I have JT and Swift starting at RB1 and RB2. It's a great question. I think, Deontay Johnson plays really well in these competitive matchups, and it should be a competitive matchup versus the Browns overall. So I don't mind Johnson at all. But just knowing the ceiling that Barkley provides, primetime game, going up against the Chiefs, it's a big game for the Chiefs. Don't get me wrong. But it's a big game for the Giants, too, in terms of proving where they're at on the season, right? And, coming off a big win this past week versus the Panthers. So, if Barkley comes back, he just offers too much of a ceiling to bench him, right? So, once again, I always tend to lean RB, over wide receiver. So, like I said, I like Deontay Johnson this week as well. But if Barkley is healthy and plays, then I think I'd lean Saquon Barkley this week. Jerry, you're feeling good about your 20-man league just a few weeks ago. Yeah, I got some good wins this year, but I feel like I'm toast. I really do. I don't have a single receiver. Jerry Judy's coming back. He might save my season, quite frankly. He's been on my IR all season long. Let's see here. My 20-man team, I've got Tua, Tim Patrick, Rondell Moore, Aaron Jones, Kenneth Gainwell, Cole Kmet, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He gave me 0 points. Jared Cook, Corey Davis, James Robinson, Trevor Lawrence, Jerry Judy. I got the Saints defense playing tonight. I haven't even checked. And then Zane Gonzalez at kicker. So I'm okay. Oh my gosh, I got beat down. Oh, and I've got Kamara against me and Seattle's defense. What? Yeah, I'm losing by 50 points. So it's not good. No matter who I started, I was going to lose this week. Yeah. Let's see here. Josh, thanks, bro. Easiest person to get advice from. Subscribe. Appreciate that support. Josh, if you've got any other questions on the night, please let me know. And congrats to you for becoming part of the Catch fam. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single stream or upload, man. We will definitely, towards the beginning of this week, tonight through Wednesday, be having a lot of stuff popping up. So if you don't want to miss a video, make sure you hit that sub button. But truly appreciate the support and the kind words. All right. 2nd and 19 for Jameis and company, man. We got a football game here, guys. 10-10. And Jameis is scrambling around. Okay. Jerry, I think week 8 is a must win for me in my personal league. It is for me too. And I'm kind of in must win mode. Although our league's getting a little shaken up after this past week. So we'll see what happens. But this is a good team I'm facing. If I can pull off this win, it's going to mean a lot for me on the season. So I'm with you there, Jerry. And all my players are projected like 5 points because I have so many handcuff situations. Um, and I got Lamar Jackson on bye. So right now, the team I'm facing is number one, but they are going to fall. They lost this week and they didn't put up a lot of points at all. So it's a tough matchup, though. It's a pretty tough matchup. Kyler Murray, Nick Chubb, Henderson, Diggs, Sutton, Seals, Jones, McLaurin, Jason Sanders, Cardinals defense, Marlon Mack, Sonny Michelle, Marquise Brown, Tyler Lockett, Jalen Waddle, and Dawson Knox. So, yeah, that's going to be a tough one. If I can pull this off, it's going to be a really good win. All right, Charlie, we like Kittle for Ertz, trade, and PPR. I mean, right now, Ertz looks like the more consistent guy. I mean, you're giving up a lot of potential value. You're giving up a pretty high ceiling. But if you've got the conviction, if you've got another tight end that you got off the waivers this year, maybe a Dalton Schultz, a Dawson Knox, another guy like that to give some support, then I don't mind the trade at all, man. Maybe Uzma will be hanging out around there. You can maybe snag him up too, just to give some support to the veteran tight end and Zach Ertz. But no, I don't mind that trade. I mean, Kittle's just been, what are we supposed to do, right? And I mean, just keep in mind, if you do trade Kittle away, and I'm assuming that that's how that trade is going for you, that you're trading him away and receiving Ertz. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just keep in mind the potential value and Kittle that you might be losing, right? As long as you're content with the decision, then I think it's fine. Joe, I ended up with Stafford as an extra in a trade. I was rolling with Prescott. Do I play the matchup and make myself crazy or stick with one QB every week? There's a 10-point bonus at 300 yards. I think having the depth of two stud quarterbacks is fine, especially if you get a 10-point bonus for 300 yards. I mean, that's pretty insane. Both those guys can put up 300 yards on a weekly basis. So, especially if you can stream against weaker defenses between the two, I'd love to have Stafford and Prescott. Now, if you start to feel confident with either one, then you could use them as trade value if you need to. But if you don't necessarily need to, then I would hold on to both of them, Joe. I really would. I don't know if you can have you could probably have a better combo, but that's a pretty damn good combo to have overall. So I think I'm leaning with keeping them both, Joe. Yeah, let me see here in my 20-man league what my matchup looks like this coming week in week 8. Probably not good. Oh, good. I'm playing the worst team in the league. They haven't won a game all season long. I don't know if this team is even playing. They've got Ryan Fitzpatrick as their starting quarterback and Gus Edwards and Robbie Gould all on their team. But they could still beat me. Oh gosh, and they got Malcolm Brown in their lineup. I don't think they're playing. Okay, so maybe I'll get a win this week in my 20-man league. But they got A.J. Brown, Austin Eckler, and Jamar Chase, and Goodert, and the Pittsburgh defense. So, that is technically enough to get a win these days. Jamar Chase alone might get you a win these days. So, that's interesting. Okay, maybe I'll get a dub, but I'm still there's only 1-5-1 team in this league. Then every other team is 4-2, 3-3, or 2-4. So I'm going to fall to 3-4 after this week. So technically, I'm still in it, but in a 20-man league, points for really, really matters because getting to the playoffs is based off of much more than just wins alone. To get in that top 6, you got to have a high amount of points scored, and I'm actually not doing that bad. I've got more points scored than a couple teams ahead of me, but I got to do something quick in that league if I'm going to make the playoffs. Jerry, Lockett with a strong 2.2 points. I'm sorry, Jerry. I truly am. Yeah. Hey, Russ should be back week 10, my guy. Should be back week 10. I traded Ridley and Connor for him. Shake my head. That trade keeps me up at night. I'm sure it does. I'm sorry, Jerry. Everyone say a prayer for Jerry. This fantasy season will start to improve. You'll be okay, Jerry. I promise. Alan Lazard is coming to the rescue. All right, 3rd and 5 here for the Hawks. We got ourselves a football game, guys. Let's see what Gino Smith can't muster up here. Dropping back, finds his man DK Metcalf for the first down, and a little pushy out there. Gerald Everett rolling around, man. Jerry, things looked a lot different in week 2. They did. I mean, that's when Lockett was having some monster games and getting these crazy, crazy deep balls, right? Uh, so you're right. You're right. I mean, retrospectively, it wasn't an awful trade. Ridley wasn't playing well either. Connor hadn't really started to take off. So, I mean, don't beat yourself up too much for it, Jerry. I don't want you staying up at night staring at the ceiling thinking about Tyler Lockett, but I've been there. I've been there, man. Trust me. Especially in terms of players I could have drafted and players that I did draft, right? That's what usually keeps me up at night more than anything. All right. Second down here coming up for the Seahawks. Another rainy game. And I think the same storm is affecting the Seahawks that affected the Niners and Colts last night. Yeah, it looks like Rashad Penny is probably not playing again this game. I mean, Alex Collins has just looked quite better. I don't blame the Seahawks as Collins now catches a football and picks up a first down. Yeah, I want it to be Rashad Penny because I obviously have him rostered, but uh, it's going to be this is a great test, but next week versus the Jaguars is probably the only reason I'd hold on to Rashad Penny. But it looks like for now, I think Collins is going to be the number one guy. I mean, they tried to play this football game with Rashad Penny as the number one guy, and it just wasn't working out. And I mean, it's a tough matchup, and last week was a tough matchup in which Alex Collins balled out against. And now that Collins has been in the game, he's making this look a lot better overall than. I mean, now he gets tackled for a lot. Oh gosh, almost gets back to the line of scrimmage, but I guess I'm jinxing Alex Collins. But he's looked better with what he's been given against a very good Saints front seven. The Queek, what's going on? Hope you're doing well tonight. Thanks for coming out to the stream. Trade Lockett for Judy. I'm 2-5. I definitely consider it, as we were just talking about. Tyler Lockett. Jerry, let us know for our guy, the Queek. Would you trade Tyler Lockett away for Jerry Judy, being a struggling Tyler Lockett owner? I mean, I don't think it's a bad trade. I've got a lot of conviction overall in Jerry Judy as the Seahawks pick up a big first down here, all the way down to about the 22-yard line here. But I personally love Jerry Judy, man. I've still got him, on IR in one of my leagues, and I still think when he comes back, he is going to play quite well. He played very well in week 1 before he got hurt. I would just say that when Wilson comes back, presumably in week 10, that I do think that Lockett's value is going to go back up. But if you need to win right now, I mean, we're assuming Judy is going to come back, right? This coming week. He could have a setback. He could end up being out for another week or two. We don't quite know. And we always, I personally like to see a sample size of a player in a full game when they come back from injury. But with that being said, I think it's worth the gamble if you need to win right now. Jerry says that's a tough one since Jerry's coming back from injury. Yeah, it is tough. I mean, the injury definitely, comes into factor there. But that's tough. Let me know, the Queek, where is your headspace at overall, man? How are you feeling about the trade? Do you think that it's going to improve your roster right away? Do you think that's going to give you a chance to win right away as well? Let me pull up for you. Let's see here. Let me see who the Hawks got coming up. And then let me see who the Broncos have coming up as well. Excuse me. All right, let's see here. Tyler Lockett. Wow, he hasn't scored more than 8 points since week 2. Gino Smith gets sacked on 3rd and 11. Holy cow. But let's see here. He's got Jacksonville in week 8. That's Tyler Lockett. Okay, then a bye week. Then Green Bay and Arizona, tough matchups. But then Washington, then San Fran, Houston, LA, and Chicago. Doesn't really see a good matchup in that stretch outside of Washington and Chicago. So that's pretty tough for Lockett and company. Now, he's kind of matchup I don't want to say matchup proof, but when Russell Wilson comes back, just due to that long ball, I mean, you know, he's worth playing in some of those matchups, right? But Judy's got Washington, Dallas, and Philly, then a bye week, then the Chargers, Kansas City, Detroit, Cincinnati, Vegas, and the Chargers. And actually, a lot of those teams are really good against posting receivers. But if you need to win right now, I mean, Judy against Washington, and then Judy against Dallas, and then I mean, Philly's been good against posting receivers this season, but they've also been a team that's given up a lot of points. So I don't know how much I want to read into that. Um, if you need to win right now, I might lean Judy just because of those two immediate matchups, man. All right, let's see here. Jerry, I wouldn't trust Lockett until Russell comes back. Fair enough. And even then, I'm not sure if Russell will make a big difference. That could be true as well. It's hard to say. The Queek, I love Judy. I originally drafted him, but ended up trading him. But Lockett with Wilson, I don't know. Jerry, they're already struggling with Russell before the injury. I think you should do the trade. I think I'm leaning towards a trade just looking at the matchups coming up. Uh, I think I am leaning towards doing the trade overall. Um, but it's very tough. It's very tough. Yeah. I mean, could Lockett potentially see more of those 20+ point games after Russell Wilson is back? Sure. Um, but these next two matchups for Jerry Judy are fantastic. Now, the biggest risk here is the injury, of course, right? Uh, if there's any setbacks, then the trade isn't necessarily worth it because we're really looking to use Judy against Washington and Dallas, and then Philly, right? Just good overall game scripts, good overall matchups. We would assume at least, right? So I could go back and forth on this one. This is pretty tough, man. Um, if you've got the conviction in the trade, then I would encourage you to do it, though. I absolutely would. That's a great question, man. Great question. All right, guys, make sure that we're smashing that like button, trying to get as many new viewers to the stream as possible, trying to grow the Catch Fam community. And of course, man, if you are new here, please consider subscribing down below and becoming part of the Catch Fam tonight. But if not, I do appreciate you guys coming out, and I appreciate all of the Catch Fam here tonight showing support, man, as we conclude this Monday night football game, getting into the end of the game here and rolling into week 8 once this game concludes. The quick thanks I'd like to, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, let me know if that was helpful. If you've got any more questions on the night, man. It's a tough call between Lockett and Judy, though, for sure. I hope that was helpful. Definitely a lot that we could go back and forth with that question on. All right. Jerry, the guy I traded Ridley / Connor to was the same guy who dealt Henderson to me. So I guess fleece for a fleece. Yeah. I mean, you got a little bit of value out of him at least, right? In terms of the fact that you got Henderson, right? So it definitely, I don't want to say it completely worked out, but you won one of those trades, Jerry. You won one of them. So look at it that way. All right. I hate to put Steven on blast, but I got to check if he's still up in this game or not. Oh my gosh, Steven is up by 5. Actually, I should specify 4.7 points. Steven might actually win. That's crazy. That's crazy. We'll see what happens. Going to be about as close as it was for me last night. So, all right, guys, let me know what's going on with everyone. Let me know how you guys are feeling as week 8 is now. I mean, can you guys believe that? This season's practically halfway over. I swear that the football season goes by faster than like anything else I've ever dealt with in my entire life. I swear. Jerry, I secretly want Steven to lose. Oh no. Oh no, Steven. Wow, Jameis Winston just got they're throwing the flags. Oh gosh. Oh, I thought there was about to be a fight or something, but really the ref was just kind of freaking out. Okay. Jameis got they're probably going to call helmet to helmet on that, roughing the passer or something. Tie ball game, guys. We got a football game here. Was anyone watching this through Peyton and Eli? I mean, I have been all night, but I sent some clips in the Catch Fam League, and oh my gosh, Marshawn Lynch as their first guest tonight was just absolutely hilarious. Just talking about taking shots of Hennessy and like cursing every other word. It was awesome. It was great. And then after his segment was done, Peyton and Eli had to come on and apologize because Marshawn dropped the F bomb, which was awesome. Jerry, are you making a move for CEH? Yes. Yes, I am. But if I don't get him, I won't be upset. I mean, I've got I mean, this is what I like is to have so many running backs that I can barely start half of them. But I mean, I've got an injured Montgomery, an injured Kareem Hunt, and now an injured Josh Jacobs. So I'm like, is it really worth it for me to go out and get an injured CEH? I'm not sure. But yeah, I saw that move earlier, and I feel bad because Mark actually hit me up about it, and I missed his DM. And then I saw it later on. He'd already made the move. And I kind of politely told my guy Mark that I won't be surprised if there's some moves made for CEH. But in terms of his roster, I don't think he made a bad move in terms of his needs and everything. Jerry, oh wow, that's who I wanted. Um, yeah, you and I, Jerry, keep going on these waiver wire battles, man. Pick and Rick, Seals, Jones, or Ertz, tight end pickup PPR. I would say Ertz on the season, just in terms of he's going to be the number one guy moving forward. I mean, I love Ricky Seals Jones as I see. Yeah, Jerry's saying Seals Jones is good for another week or two. When Logan Thomas comes back, I'm assuming that Thomas is going to take a majority of those targets back. But overall, I do like Ricky Seals Jones, and I think he's going to be fine in terms of volume and targets in the coming weeks. But I just expect that to essentially be at least cut in half, if not far more, because Logan Thomas is far too athletic and too good of a player for the Washington football team to ignore, right? So I would lean Zach Ertz, just being that he's a locked in number one tight end. Now, when looking at the two offenses, there are much more mouths to feed on the Arizona Cardinals than there are on the Washington football team. So you could take that into consideration in the time being. Keep in mind, right? Zach Ertz's first game with the Cardinals was versus the Texans, right? Who before this week were the 31st worst ranked team in the league. So second to last in the league against opposing tight ends. And I won't be surprised, if maybe we see a little bit of natural regression out of Ertz, just because you got to think about that offense, right? DeAndre Hopkins, Rondell Moore, Christian Kirk, Kenyon Drake, James Conner, and then Kyler Murray himself, right? And AJ Green as well. I knew I was going to forget someone, but just keep in mind, I mean, this season, Kyler Murray has shown that he does like to target the tight end position, right? Proved that with Max Williams. So I just want to be sure that we're not overreacting to Zach Ertz's first performance. I mean, I do think he's the number one tight end. I do think he's going to have a good season. I'm not saying any of that, man. I do think he's going to be a good target for Kyler Murray, but just keep in mind that his first performance with the Cardinals was against second to last worst team in the league against opposing tight ends. So pick and rank. Also, would you start Gainwell over Elijah Mitchell? That is a great question as Jameis Winston drops back, 2nd and 6, and throws an incomplete pass. And there's a flag down. I think it's going to be offensive pass interference. But let's see here. Let's look between. Gosh, I have not been a fan of Elijah Mitchell all season long, but he finally looked like a locked in RB1 the way that he was deployed. And he played great versus the Colts, who we're the third best team in the league against opposing running backs, believe it or not. So Eli Mitchell's got Chicago, the 11th ranked team against opposing running backs, and Arizona, then the Rams, who are actually ranked 19th, but they do play a little bit better than they're ranked. So he's got some tough matchups coming up, man. And overall, this week alone, it's a tough matchup for Eli Mitchell, who I always call Elijah Mitchell. Is this his real name, Elijah? Where did I get that from? But nonetheless, it's a tough matchup versus Chicago, but Chicago just got absolutely decimated by Tampa Bay. So I don't know how much I want to read into that, right? That ranking might drop a little bit after this week, but Gainwell nonetheless should see a heavy workload versus the Chargers. Or no, I'm sorry, versus the Lions, who are the 29th ranked team against opposing running backs right now, and they played pretty good against Daryl Henderson. But overall, it's a you know it just wasn't a good game script for Henderson, right? So I think this week, to answer your question, Pick and Rick, I think I'd lean Gainwell. But I talked about this in the waiver wire stream, which if you guys didn't already get to watch, make sure you guys check that out for the week as well. That was earlier today and is posted. But think about it this way, right? Gainwell is going to see a heavy workload, I'm sure, but Boston Scott is also going to be involved in this game plan for the Eagles. So I do think Gainwell will play like an RB1. But do not be surprised if Gainwell's getting a majority of the work. They get within the 20-yard line, and Boston Scott gets a goal line carry and scores a touchdown. Okay, so just keep in mind that I don't think Gainwell's going to have necessarily a monster game, but I do think he will have a good game overall. So I think I'd lean Gainwell just based on the matchup between the two. All right, Winston dropping back after the penalty, 2nd and 16, and he finds Tricon Smith, who committed that offensive pass interference penalty. So there you go. Justin Young still need 3.2 points from Callaway. Yeah, Callaway has been extremely disappointing on the night, but maybe he'll score here. You never know. We are rooting for you, Justin. Everyone say a prayer for Justin's fantasy matchup. Jerry, I feel really good about Ertz rest of season. I like the idea of running him and Andrews. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind it at all. I mean, like I said, I do like Zach Ertz for the rest of the season. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. All right, let's see here. Jameis Winston, 3rd and 5. The Saints is in company, dropping back, trying to find a man, and he finds almost Jamal Adams for an interception. He was targeting Callaway. I'm so sorry, Justin. Miscommunication there, but probably better that it was overthrown for the Saints because that looked like if it was on target, it would have been an interception. So, yikes. Yikes. Yeah, just an overthrown ball. I'm almost surprised that that wasn't PI. Yeah, they had double coverage on Kamara. I don't blame them. How is Steven doing? Still winning. I just checked. He's up by 3 points. He's got a chance here. He's got a chance. If he loses, you'll have to make sure to roast him tomorrow night. JT moving. If I receive Cordero Patterson, Thielen, and Jamar Chase, but I give up DJ Moore, Jonathan Taylor, and Christian Kirk, would you do that? Yes. Yes. I would definitely consider it. And I mean, Jamar Chase, this is a player you want on your roster if you can get him, man. And I think it's worth it just in terms of getting Jamar Chase. You're losing some value at the running back position, but listen, Patterson's been extremely consistent on the season, man. So you can replace Jonathan Taylor with Patterson and still win football games. And the upside that Jamar Chase is going to give you over DJ Moore and Christian Kirk is absolutely worth it. I still like Kirk as a flex play, and I still like DJ Moore due to volume, even with Darnold playing poorly. As the Saints just got a first down. Uh-oh. Who's Jameis going to find? He finds Callaway. Callaway caught a football. Let's go, man. Man, I was hoping it was in the end zone. But there we go, Justin. There's some points. Okay, JT moving. I also have Joe Mixon, so it'll be Patterson and Mixon. Yeah. I mean, that's how good Jamar Chase is right now, that I'm absolutely sold on that trade. And the other aspect there is that I think Thielen gives you enough value to lose DJ Moore and Christian Kirk that you can play him as well. I would definitely 100% consider that trade overall, man. I would definitely consider that trade, JT moving. Let me know where your headspace is at with it, but I would 100% consider it. I mean, Patterson's been so consistent. Jamar Chase has been amazing. I'm so surprised that owner is willing to give up Jamar Chase. Okay. And I think Thielen gives you enough value. I like that it's a 3-for-3 trade that you can definitely 100% consider it. Jerry, I'm only interested in watching Dune because of your high praise for it. I mean, I've just heard, that it's quite good from people, YouTubers and such that I rely on. And also, I mean, I wanted to see it regardless, right? I do have HBO Max, so I could wait, but I've just heard that this is a movie you should watch in theaters. I love the director. I love what he did with Blade Runner 2049. I'm excited to see it. Yeah. If it's not bad or it's not good, you owe me $18. Okay. Fair enough, Jerry. Fair enough. I think that's a good trade, says Jerry, to JT Movin. I think it is too. I think you're winning that trade, in my humble opinion. Now, losing Jonathan Taylor sucks, man. I mean, but you're getting good enough value that I think it's worth it. I mean, I will be highly surprised if Jamar Chase falls off for the rest of the season. It would absolutely baffle me. Justin Young, 0.9 points to go from Callaway. Everyone say a prayer for Justin Young. 3rd and goal coming up here for the Saints. So listen, if the Saints score and it's not Callaway, you still have a chance as long as the Seahawks score and take this thing into overtime. So don't panic quite yet. But yes, it would definitely, be a big weight off your chest if Callaway just finds the end zone here. So we shall see what happens here. This is a good game. I mean, it hasn't been entirely entertaining, but I like me a close football game. Yeah. We'll see what happens here. Justin, I hope it works out for you. 2 minutes and 16 seconds left in the game. And let's see what Jameis Winston and company put together here. Kamara in motion to the right. Jameis is going to get sacked. Oh, no. Oh, no. And I'm going to assume that the Saints are going to kick a field goal here. So once again, it's not over for you, Justin, as long as the Seahawks drive down the field and kick a field goal. They've got a little bit more time than they need. Oh, wow. Sean Payton looking directly into Jameis's eyes and saying, what happened? All right, guys. 2-minute warning. It's been a good football game. See what happens here. Yeah, JT moving. I'm liking that trade quite a bit, man. I'm liking that trade. Let me know where your headspace is at with it. I mean, I would definitely consider it. Senior Cinnabon, I'm down by 1 point. Please give it to Kamara. Like I just talked about with Justin, even if it doesn't happen on this drive, I think there's a good chance that this could turn into an overtime game. If the Saints kick a field goal and then the Seahawks get within field goal range, then I think this could be an overtime game. So don't lose faith quite yet, guys. We might have another opportunity with another quarter. So for your guys' sake, I definitely hope that it turns into an overtime game. For our co-host, Steven, I hope it doesn't, as he has a slim lead right now. All right, let me see here. You guys know we got to fire up some Madden after this game ends for the night. There we go. I'll get that set up. I know you guys are dying to see some of the face of the franchise. My John Madden Jets journey. It's been very exciting. All right. So let me know what else is going on, guys. Let me know how everyone's been doing, man. Yeah. Week 8. Week 8, man. Week 8. It is here. Almost. Quarter or so away. And like I said, man, halfway through the season. Can you guys believe that? I mean, isn't it just absurd how quickly the season goes by? Isn't it? It is to me. I mean, fantasy is basically. Let me know if you guys know in your leagues when your fantasy playoffs are starting, because it's different everywhere out there, and it's a little different with the added game this year. So I'd be interested to know. Jerry, a bunch of close fantasy games. Absolutely. Yeah. Rendon, bro, I'm getting hype. I'm up by 3 points. I had the Saints defense, and he has DK. I need the game to just end. Oh man, I hope for Rendon. I hope. I mean, we got some Catch fan members who need this game to go in overtime. Then we've got some who need this game to end like right away, including Rendon and our co-host Steven. So I hope somehow this works out for everyone involved. Jerry, I think the entire year flew by. It absolutely has for me. It absolutely has. And yeah, not just fantasy and football. I mean, this whole year has just actually flown by. But we got a lot planned for the channel in the off season, man, and post fantasy as well. So looking forward to getting creative with you guys in the off season. So the Saints up by 3 now against the Seahawks. Got ourselves a football game. So Rendon, your opponent has DK. Yikes! I'm not gonna lie. He's probably gonna get targeted on this drive here. I mean, you would think, right? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I said, I hope it works out in not just your favor, but all of the Catch fans' favor. All right, let's see here. Saints are kicking off. Under 2 minutes for the Seahawks to kick a field goal. Or they could just score, and then the game would be over. We'll see. We'll see. So yeah, in the offseason, man, we're going to be doing a lot more just general NFL debate, like historical NFL debate. We'll have different nights where you guys will be in on those podcast debates as well. A lot more Madden content, but it'll be a lot more fun and interactive than what it has been thus far on the season. But we got a lot planned, definitely down the stretch, which I'm looking forward to, man, because I know everyone likes a nice break from fantasy, but we're all football fans, and I want that to continue through the channel in the off season as well. So looking forward to that. But hey, season is far from over. But you got to admit that these first 8 weeks, the first half of the season has just, I mean, it has come and it has gone. But we got to get through week 8 before it's really halfway over. So we'll see what happens. All right. Gino dropping back, 2nd and 10. Pump fakes and gets sacked. He gets sacked. Malcolm Jenkins getting hype. Going to be a tough down, or tough 3rd down for Gino Smith and company, who has what I think the last 2 games have ended on a fumble and interception by Gino Smith. Senior Cinnabon, that sack is game for me. Let's go. Oh, that's now I'm down by 3 points. Uh-oh. Sorry, I thought it was working in the other favor. And Geno Smith gets sacked again. He can just not finish these games. He's putting his team in a good enough position to win, and he can just not finish these football games. Let's see here. Adrian, would you start Metcalf or Landrieu next week? Because if it wasn't for that play by Metcalf, he wouldn't be giving me these points. Yeah. And that kind of happens on a consistent basis with Metcalf, don't get me wrong, but that's what you rely on him to do, right? Is have those big splashy plays. That's why we start him in fantasy, right? I think Landry, probably a safer floor potentially, but not quite as high of a ceiling. And it's a pretty tough matchup, or it's a decent matchup actually. Divisional game and everything for the Browns coming up. Should be a good game actually, but I think I'm still leaning on DK Metcalf, man. I think I am. I think he presents a much higher ceiling, and I think you'd regret potentially starting Landry over him. So I think I'm going to lean Metcalf there. It's a fair point, though. You wipe away the touchdown play. He doesn't have a great night at all. But there's a lot of players out there where if we wipe away their touchdown, then they're not relevant for the week. So I wouldn't read too much into it. And like I said, we rely on our guy DK to get those big plays. Okay, 4th and 28. No, dude, if the Seahawks makes us, that's crazy. This means that Steven's probably going to pull off this dub. Shout out to our co-host Steven. All right, let's see here. Can we get on with the fourth down? I want to see this play. I really do. 4th and 28. Prevent defense out there. Let's see what Gino can't do here. Trying to get the Saints to jump off sides does not work. In his own end zone, oh my gosh, he almost got sacked. He's rolling out. He's throwing a pass that is almost intercepted. Wow. If that pass had not gotten broken up, that probably would have been a first down. Wow. Saints are going to win this football game. Wow. There's just not enough support for these Seahawks players. Yeah, that was almost. Wow, that was a great play. Great play, man. Sorry to you guys that needed more out of this game and needed to see it go to overtime. Good win by the Saints on a rainy, rainy night. I mean, of course, they're just going to take, what, 2 or 3 knees and end this game? But yeah, that'll do it. Congrats to everyone who got a dub out of that, and prayers to anyone who did not. Adrian, I'm going to win both my leagues, one by 50 points with 6 starters on bye and playing all my bench, the other by 17 thanks to Metcalf. Let's go, Adrian. Balling out tonight, man. All right, guys, keep the fantasy Q&A rolling. We are going to hop into a game of Madden or two, and then in the stream tonight. But we got time for fantasy Q&A, so let me know what you guys need. You guys have already been killing it, man. If you guys didn't already do so, make sure you smash that like button down below. And yeah, if you guys are new here, make sure you consider subscribing down below as well, becoming part of the Catch fam tonight. All right, let's see here. Let's get our Madden rolling. All right. Good win by the Saints. Like I said, Gino is putting his team in the position to win, but he's just not finishing. He ain't finishing these ball games for the Seahawks. Jerry, you guys have slowly been getting those subs. It's so cool to see it grow. Appreciate that, Jerry. Like I said, it's a long process, man, but I appreciate you being a member and a loyal member of the Catch fam. And yeah, it's fantastic just watching this community grow day by day, man. It's absolutely fantastic. So I appreciate that, man. I truly do. All right, let's see here. Interesting. All right. Okay, now we've got everything set up. And let's get into Face of the Franchise. We got the post-game reaction coming up as well from Sean Payton, Pete Carroll. Whew. All right, guys. Yeah, and I mean, spread the channel around, guys. Send it to your friends, your family, man. Send it to your fantasy football leagues, although it might give your opponents, a leg up for the week. I can understand if you don't want to do that till after the season's over. But yeah, spread the word, man. Spread the catch around, man. Let's help the community continue to grow and grow. Appreciate that shout out, Jerry. Jerry, how many leagues are you and Steven in together? Just our primary league and just the Catch Fam League. Used to be that we ran a league together and then I ran a separate league, but I kind of I couldn't get enough people who were serious and stuck with it. And I never played for, my league was never for money. And we just, I gave up that league. And Steve and I just run a league together essentially. And really, this is the first year where Steven's commissioned the league himself. And now we've got the Catch Fam League, which of course I'm commissioning. So I somehow ended up commissioning a fantasy league this year when I did not plan on it, but that's okay. I'm happy to do it for the Catch Fam, man. Adrian, if you were to trade Landry and Goodert, what would you ask for? I got Elliott, Najee, Damian Harrison, RB, Keenan, Jamar Chase, Tyreek McLaurin, Tom and Dak, QB, and Knox and Pitts. Your team is absolutely loaded, Adrian. So it depends on what team needs, another wide receiver and potentially a starting tight end as well. Um, I don't think holding on to Landry and Goddard's going to hurt you in terms of just having extra depth, but your team is so loaded. I don't know if anyone's going to be willing to trade to you, Adrian. Are the other teams in your league that loaded? I mean, I think you can get a pretty good lower end wide receiver 2, maybe a low end wide receiver 1 or RB2, low end wide RB1, excuse me, for that trade. Adrian, I have them in the IR. Okay. But I don't quite know that you need to make a trade. I mean, that's probably the best fantasy roster I've seen on the season. No, they're not. I was able to make 2 good trades early. Yeah, I remember you talking about that a little bit. That's what I assumed. I don't know that you need to trade. Yeah. I mean, I think I would just hold on to that depth and the upside that Landry and or Goddard could provide down the stretch. Now, let me make sure. I mean, you got Knox and Pitts. Dude, your team is absolutely filthy. I mean, is it bad that I'm recommending just not trading? Uh, like I said, you could probably get a low end RB2, wide receiver 2, who you think you have conviction in moving forward. Maybe someone who's injured, like Kareem Hunt or Josh Jacobs, right? Maybe just to add some depth down the stretch. I wouldn't mind that personally, but that might be my thought because your team is quite good. Jerry, I'm not a fan of the money leagues. It makes things too serious and you're not able to enjoy it. I say that because I lost in the finals in the last money league I was in. Yeah, I can get that point as well, right? And I will say that when you get money involved, yes, it can make things more stressful and not as fun for some people, but also is keep the league in it on a consistent basis. I played in a lot of leagues where money's not involved and people just stop caring, which can be really annoying to someone like me or someone like my co-host Steven or most of us in this chat tonight, who really just love fantasy football and want, to be competitive, right? Um, so I think that's an aspect as well, but I can definitely see what you're saying as well, Jerry. And, it's interesting because I'm in 2 money leagues and I haven't even thought about it. I mean, I like fantasy enough that I don't really care if I win the money or not. I just am playing it because I like fantasy, to be quite honest. Adrian, I traded away Lamar Jackson, Emmanuel Sanders for Tyreek and Dak, had Pitts, and picked up Knox in the waiver early. Yeah, great moves. Great moves, man. Your team looks absolutely filthy, bro. Like I said, I mean, I don't know if I got offered a trade from you, I don't think I'd trade with you. I'd be like, dude, this team is too good. They don't need any of my potential help, right? So, uh, your team looks fantastic. I think I'd just keep Landry and Goddard around. I mean, they're both starters at their position, especially if you can keep them on IR. I mean, I know that'll probably prevent you from adding anyone on the waiver wire, but if you can, why not, right? I mean, your team is just loaded. Chase Brown, what's good? What's up, my guy? Hope you're doing well tonight, man. Always good to see you. Thanks for coming out to tonight's stream. I had traded Julio Jones and AJ for Jamar Chase week 2. Great trade. Definitely paid off for you. Great. I commend you for going out and making that trade early in the season. I know AJ Brown has started to come, full circle, but not the way that Jamar Chase has. Gosh. Chase Brown Kamara got me the big win this week. Let's go, Chase. Thoughts on Judy now? I still am fine with or thoughts on Judy next week. I'm sorry. I'm happy that Judy's coming back. I think that he's going to be just fine. I think this affects probably Tim Patrick more than anyone, right? But luckily, Tim Patrick has always been, pretty good in the red zone. So I think Judy's going to, we want to see a full sample size out of Jerry Judy, right? But overall, I think he's going to be just fine. I'm excited to see him come back. You guys know I love me some Jerry Judy. Adrian, it's funny. Everyone was saying I gave up too much. I'm laughing now. Yeah, you definitely won that trade, man. Definitely. It looks like you won all your trades, actually. Chase, plus nobody in my league wants CMC, so I'm forced to keep him while I'm 2 and 5. I wouldn't worry too much about having to, have CMC on your roster. I know that you're in a win now mentality, which makes sense. But when CMC comes back, he is going to absolutely benefit your football team, 100%. But I know it's tough kind of waiting around, hoping to get, or being in that win now mentality, right? I know it's tough. I know it is. CMC, I believe, is a must keep. He may not be able to play right now, but you can hold him for the playoffs. You're going to be set. Yeah, I agree with that statement as well. I know if you're in a win now mentality where you don't have a great record, it can be hard to see that greener pasture. But I do think down the stretch, I'm surprised no one's willing to trade for him, quite honestly. Especially teams in good positions, just being able to trade away one or two players that you don't need and get Christian McCaffrey for the fantasy playoffs is, a great strategy in my humble opinion. So, yeah. Adrian, if I make the playoffs, the 6-1 guy didn't want him at all. I was shocked. Yeah. Like I said, if you're in the right position, it makes a lot of sense to trade for him. Adrian, I have him in my IR and won't give him up for the value. He's worth playing. Yeah. I've got him as well, and I haven't even explored trade options for him. So, but I get it, Chase. I get it. I get it. Being in your position, I'm not saying that it's bad to explore those trade options. Chase, wish my league had IR. My owner is dumb AF. Yeah, I think one IR spot at the least is 100% worth it. I can get not having more than one. Last season was a little bit different with COVID destinations, and we're still dealing with those this year, excuse me. So, I'm not surprised if leagues have two. I was in. There are leagues out there considering like 3 spots the way things were going last year, 3 IR spots that is. So I think one spot is a must-have, but it can get to the point where if you have too many IR spots, that some unfair stuff can happen in terms of being able to put too many players on IR when there are other teams out there who don't have anyone IR eligible, and they can't really, stack their roster, right? Where if you have 2 or 3 IR spots and you can kind of add 3 players off the waiver wire and have Christian McCaffrey, Jerry Judy, and David Montgomery on IR, and maybe get 3 absolute studs off the waiver wire. It can be a little, I don't want to say unfair, but it can benefit other teams more than some. So, but one IR spot, absolutely, I think in fantasy is something that every league should have. Chase, flex Judy or Daryl next week? Oh man, I really want to see, a full performance out of Jerry Judy before we start him. Which Daryl is that? I'm assuming Williams on the Chiefs. Let me know. I just want to make sure, but that's who I'm assuming. If it is him, then Daryl Williams. Okay, that's what I thought. Against Giants. Yeah, I like the matchup. This is like a must-win game for the Chiefs on their season. So, I mean, Williams had a bad game last week, had a very good game the week before against Washington football team, who are pretty similarly ranked to the Giants. So I think I want to lean Williams, but I don't mind starting Judy as well. That's tough though. That's tough. I think I'm leaning Williams though. I still believe in Judy on the season. I think he should be rostered. I don't think you should give him up or anything. I just want to see one game back from injury, right? Ryan, what's going on, man? Start two against Bills or Wentz against the Titans. I'm leaning Wentz against the Titans, man. I mean, Judy, or not Judy. Wow, I just threw an interception here. But listen, Tua's played great in his first 2 weeks back from injury, but I do not like this matchup against the Bills for Tua at all. Could he surprise us? Yes. Is he kind of potentially playing to not get replaced by potentially Deshaun Watson, or is he potentially playing to make sure that whatever team he gets traded to, he enjoys being there? Maybe. Who really knows at this point? But nonetheless, man, I don't think that he's going to have a very good game against the Bills, quite frankly. I love Carson Wentz this week, guys. This is a great quarterback stream for the week for those of you who have maybe Lamar Jackson out, maybe you have Derek Carr out on the week, right? Or maybe you're just struggling at the QB position. I think that Wentz versus the Titans is a very good play this week. Adrian, I actually traded for him and gave up Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt because I have Cordell and Zeke and ran wide receiver on my flex. At first, I was worried because he went back on IR, but then they both got hurt. So how did I do? Let's see here. I think that's fine. I mean, looking at your full roster, man, I got nothing bad to say about any of the moves you've made. Yeah, I think that's absolutely fine. Yeah, I mean, down the stretch, man, he's going to benefit you to the maximum. So I got nothing bad to say about that whatsoever. Chase, is Lazard a must start with Adams out because I can flex him over Judy and Daryl? I wouldn't say he's necessarily a must start. The matchup isn't fantastic. I mean, I like Lazard as a flex play, but only if you're kind of desperate. I mean, I think he's worth the pickup in general, being that he could be the locked-in number 2 receiver. But I've also warned you guys, right? Overall, every single year, we're always looking for that number 2 receiver to emerge off of Green Bay, and it's like kind of happened with Randall Cobb earlier in the season, right? We saw a lot of overreaction where a lot of teams were going out and picking him up off of that big game, and he hasn't done anything since. So I am a little afraid of Lazard potentially not doing a whole lot, but we'll see. Would I call him a must start? I don't quite think so. But if you're hurting at the receiver position, he's definitely a good waiver pickup on the week. Let's see here. Adam, what's going on, man? No, he's not a must start. Yeah, I think it depends on your personal roster. I think I would start Williams or Judy over Lazard, though, even with Adams being out. Let's see here. Ooh, I got to try. Quarter's over. Okay. Jerry, my main league has 3 IR spots. It's annoying. People just hold on to players. Yeah. Jerry, damn, John, I made that move on Cobb after his big game, calling me out on the stream. To be quite honest, I did it in my 20-man league as well, and I was eyeing him in my primary league, so I'm right there with you. I mean, I think I personally overreacted, so sorry, Jerry. I didn't mean to call you out. Cash Stylist, checking back in, Catch. We won. Let's go. Love to see the Catch fam catching dubs out here. Ryan, the league where I'm commissioner has 3 IR spots. Yeah, I mean, listen, still with COVID designations, I don't think it's crazy as long as your fantasy owners can put COVID players on IR. But I personally think 1 to 2 is a little bit better in terms of keeping things consistent. But if you play with 3, I mean, it's fine. I'm not the end all be all in fantasy by any means, so I don't have any beef with it. Let's see here. Adrian, what's going on with Michael Thomas? You think he's playing next week? Who knows? Who knows? Like, I know that's not the answer you guys want to hear, but I'm just not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what to make out of this Michael Thomas situation. So I think before we start him, we want to see him playing a full game, right? Because it's unlikely that he's going to have a monster game in his first game back anyways. We just want to see how he looks overall, how he's implemented in the offense, right? And I'm not quite sure if it's going to be this week or not. It's just hard to say. Chase, I could start Daryl over Hubbard as my RB2. Hubbard and Panthers look bad. They do. I mean, I don't hate that move per se, but due to volume alone, I mean, Chuba could always get in the end zone, right? It's kind of the risk that you're taking there. So let's take a look here. Just want to make sure. Yeah, the Panthers are uh, going up against the Falcons. So it's a pretty good matchup for Hubbard overall. And then it's a good matchup for Williams as well. So I actually view them being both kind of handcuff situations, both replacing a true RB1. I mean, I think you just kind of look at it. It's a good matchup for both those guys. Which offense do you think is going to perform better? Well, I mean, it's probably not the Panthers, but Juba's been a little bit more consistent this time back, although he looked very bad last week. So I go back and forth on that one. That's a tough call right there. I think you just look, Chase, at which offense do you have more conviction in? I think for you, you're leaning towards the Chiefs, which is completely okay. They both have a high chance of getting into the end zone on Sunday, for sure. All right, let's see here. Sorry, guys, got to switch up my Madden lineup. It's very important. Okay. Adrian, what about CMC? When do you think he's coming back? I would hope it's soon. I mean, I would hope it's in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and we'll find out. But, I mean, what last we saw was about week 9. So I would think it would be, I mean, if we're really lucky, it'll be here in week 8, but I don't quite think it will be. And then, the next best case scenario is that he comes back in week 9. Worst case scenario is week 10. I'm not wrong about that, right? It is week 9 that he's supposed to come back, right? I should probably have closer tabs on this. Let me see what I can't get pulled up here, being that I have him on in my primary league. Let's see here. Yeah, eligible to make a return in week 9. Which is against the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So when he comes back, it's going to have New England, Arizona, and Washington, which are relatively tough matchups. But regardless, he is basically matchup proof. And Christian McCaffrey has the worst playoff schedule of like any running back. He's got Buffalo, Tampa Bay, and New Orleans. Unless your playoffs start in week 14, then he's at least got Atlanta. But I mean, is he matchup proof? Probably. But keep that in mind too. But I think we should see him back. Not here in week 8, but in the following week. I mean, barring any setbacks, right? So, of course, we'll find out. But I'm very hopeful for a week 9 comeback by Christian McCaffrey for those of us who own us. Chase, sucks because I need to win next week. Need to put my 100% effort in making the correct decisions. Yeah, I hear you there, man. And that's a very close call. And quite honestly, I mean, the matchup is relatively similar. The volume is going to be relatively similar, although, I mean, Chuba might see a little bit more action just being with how much firepower the Chiefs have in the passing game. But, I mean, this is a very important game for the Chiefs, and they need to win this football game. If they lose to the Giants, I mean, they're already hitting the panic button before this week, right? But if they lose to the Giants, their season's in extreme jeopardy. Their season's already in jeopardy, right? And their season is absolutely in jeopardy if they lose to the Giants in prime time, right? So, I mean, I would look for the Chiefs to have a better offensive day than the Panthers, but still a good matchup overall for Chuba Hubbard and the Panthers. So it's a very, very tough call. All right, Adrian, Higgins versus Jets or Metcalf versus Jacksonville. These are both good matchups, but surprisingly, the Jets have been actually pretty good against opposing wide receivers on the season. So I'm leaning Metcalf, just looking at the matchup versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The chemistry has been there between Gino Smith and DK Metcalf. So I'm leaning DK Metcalf, although I mean, the Jets have been awful, but they've been okay on defense, believe it or not. Yeah, although this past week they were pretty awful. But on the season, especially against opposing wide receivers, they've been okay. They've actually been much better against the run than many people would think, right? So yeah, I think I'm leaning DK Metcalf if I had to pick between the two, and especially because Metcalf's going to be the number 1 guy, where Higgins is more coming into a number 2 type player who sometimes sees wide receiver 1 value, right? He did have 15 targets on Sunday. But nonetheless, man, I'm still leaning DK Metcalf and where he's at on the season. All right, let's see here. Chase, I'll flex Daryl. Tempted to flex Judy, but you were right. I should wait a week before placing him in my lineup. It's a lot of tough calls there, Chase. A lot of tough calls. Ryan, I'm now 6-1 in my $100 league. Let's go. Let's go, bro. Yeah, it's getting to that point in the season where we got to make sure we're piecing together wins, guys. It's getting into where we've really got to make tough calls. Who into that point where we're going to start potentially making the playoffs or not making the playoffs, right? In terms of positioning, right? So it's getting there. Adrian, would you rather have Drew Brees for one more year or just rip that Band-Aid with Winston? Winston's having a perfect game against me in Madden. It's a tough call. I mean, yeah, Drew Brees, Hall of Fame quarterback. I think I'd lean Drew Brees. Yeah, 100%. But I don't really hate Jameis Winston by any means. He's no Drew Brees, though. He's no Drew Brees. So I think I'm going to lean Drew Brees there. But yeah, Jameis is killing me in Madden right now. So I don't know if that means anything, but probably not. All right. Oh, please make this tackle. Adrian, did you watch the game today? The Saints Seahawks game? Yes. Yes. We had that the second half going here for the stream. But yeah, absolutely, man. All right, let's see if I can't make a stop here in Madden. Oh no. Oh no. I moved the oh gosh. Is that a touchdown? Are you kidding me? Okay. David Z, what's going on, man? Bro, you helped me so much this week. I was concerned about Tua this bye week, but you convinced me, and he did great with Waddle and Gasecki. Let's go, David. Hope you got the dub, man. Happy to see that we helped you with presumed victory on the week. Yeah, love to see it, man. Absolutely love to see it, man. And yeah, I felt very good about Tua and company this week. And listen, I think it's gonna be a tough matchup versus the Bills for this Dolphins team. So keep that in mind this week. But I'm glad that I helped you out, man. Certainly help or happy to do so. That's what the channel is here for, my guy. And I'm assuming you got the dub. Sounds like you did. Yeah, I killed my opponent. Okay, there we go, David. Let's go. Shout out to David, man. Getting dubs in the catch. Fam. Love to see it, man. Love to see it. Yeah, Biocalypse is over, guys. We can put week 7 in the bag in the past for now. So no reason to worry anymore. Biocalypse has come and gone. Now you only need to worry if you own Lamar Jackson or Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, or one of the 17 running backs on the Ravens. So it's actually a good thing if you own Josh Jacobs because he gets that week of rest, right? So we'll see what happens, guys. Should be a good week 8, though. Chase Brown, Bengals defense or Rams defense next week? Bengals get Jets, Rams get Houston. Wow. Yeah, and Zach Wilson's out. Tyrod expected to be back. I really like really like the Bengals this week, guys. I truly do. I mean, they just signed Joe Flacco, so I mean, I'm not very concerned there. But yeah, they won't have Zach Wilson. Who, even if they did, I wouldn't necessarily be concerned either. But I really like the Jets this week. But I'm not going to talk you out of starting the Rams defense versus the Texans, even if Tyrod Taylor comes back as well. I still really like that matchup overall. I mean, man, if you flip a coin, you're going to get a good outcome either way. But the Bengals defense looks very good right now. They're available in 1 or 2 leagues that I play in right now, and I really want them this week. I'll put it that way. But if you have the Rams defense, I think that you definitely have to consider holding on to them this week as well. Rams didn't perform against Lions. That's true, but it's Texans, and while the Texans look good in a couple games this season, the last couple weeks they've looked like awful. So I don't know. I like both starts. I think either way you're going to get a great start on the week, and I wouldn't panic over either start for sure. Let's see here. David, I was the one who had 6 on my buy. Let's go, David. Jason, what's up, man? Holy shit, I was sweating bullets after that big Metcalf play in the first. Still won in the end. Let's go, Jason. Still some scary bye weeks left. Let's go, Jason. Love to see it. Love, love, love to see it. Let's see here. David, hey, going forward, who would you pick, Emmanuel Sanders or Michael Pittman? I think as much as I like Emmanuel Sanders, I'm going to lean Pittman for 2 reasons, or really one main reason, right? The main reason being that there are just so many mouths to feed on the Bills, right? That Sanders could have some of these weeks where he's just not going to see as many targets due to Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Zach Moss, Dawson Knox, Gabriel Davis, everyone else in that offense, right? Where on the other side of things, Michael Pittman just doesn't have nearly as many, or doesn't have nearly as many players to compete with in terms of target share, right? So I do think that I'll lean Pittman, but I would also put out there that Sanders might offer a higher ceiling at times. So it's a tough call, but Pittman's the number 1 guy. Sanders is just a fantastic wide receiver 2 or 3, however you want to look at it, right? All right. Let's see here. Chase Brown, a bit worried against Texans. Okay, fair enough. Then, man, the Bengals are going to have a good week defensively, man. I absolutely going to have a good week. They might be my personal must start on the week. So, yeah, I love where the Bengals are at, man. All right, let's see here. Juke, I have Pittman, Corey Davis, Bateman, Callaway, Michael Thomas for receivers. Okay. Are these guys good enough to get by? I have Derrick Henry and CMC, or should I trade one of the RBs for a receiver? I would argue that those Pittman, Davis, Bateman, Callaway, Thomas. I mean, if you can swap CMC for a good enough running back and another receiver, it's not going to hurt by any means. I mean, I in a lot of my leagues have pretty bad receivers, so I don't feel like those receivers are so bad that you can't win by any means. Um, Especially with the fact that you have Christian McCaffrey down the stretch and Derrick Henry right now. So yeah, I think you can get by Juke for now. I do. But if you can swap CMC for a good enough receiver and at least a running back you can start, then I think it's worth considering. David, awesome. Thanks. Absolutely, man. And like I said, I mean, I still love Emmanuel Sanders on the season, but overall, I think just looking at volume on a consistent basis, Pittman might be the guy. But don't get me wrong. Emmanuel Sanders is going to have weeks where he goes off for 20 plus points. So just don't forget that as well. All right, let's see here. Jason, I might trade Scary Terry and Booker for Patterson and Henderson in the Bills defense. I don't think that's a bad trade if you're not hurting that receiver. I think it's a quite a good trade, Jason. I would definitely consider that. All right, Jason, or I'm sorry, Chase. Gracie, that Hurts is the number 2 quarterback in fantasy right now. Yeah, he is just the king of garbage time points, right? He's having quite a good season. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little crazy. He doesn't have to play good football in the first 3 quarters, I guess, to perform from a fantasy perspective. So yeah. Jake, I have Devonte Williams and Michael Carter's backups right now. Okay. I think you can start at least one of those guys for now, but I would still look to get another running back out of that trade and a wide receiver that you're confident in as well. At least a running back that you can start in some sense, right? Andrew, what's going on, man? Got offered Hill for Swift. My RBs are Eckler, Swift, CEH, Damian Harris, Connor. Wide receivers are Adams, Woods, Michael Thomas, Tony, Myers, and Myers. Do I take it? Ooh, that's a tough one, Andrew. Let's see here. So you can start Eckler. Man, that stack of Adams and Hill could seriously lead you to the fantasy playoffs. So I think you got to consider it, man. Is there a running back out there who you think you can, add, who's in a good position for the season, right? Because I think that definitely plays a factor as well. Um, but I think you got to consider it just being able to start Hill and I mean Hill and Adams is just wild, man. So I hate to see you lose Swift, right? He's been so consistent, right? But I think you got to consider it because Damon Harris has been playing kind of off the walls right now. So Eckler and Harris, or Connor for that matter, CH when he comes back will help you too. But being able to put Adams and Hill out there, I don't know if you can deny that, man. Jason, I said Patterson or Henderson. Okay, my bad. Not both. That would be crazy. Yeah, I was like, yeah, hell yeah, you need to take that trade, Jason. Um, then I still don't think it's a bad trade by any means, Jason. I don't. Even if it's one or the other, I don't think it's a bad trade. KB, pick one RP, one flex. Okay. Higgins, Judy, Bateman, Javante, Herbert. Man, I really want to like Herbert moving forward, man. I really do. Ooh, this is tough. This is tough. I see Jason saying Javante and Higgins, and I think I agree with Jason. Just due to volume alone, I think those are going to be the two best plays. So I agree with Jason there, Javante and Higgins. Just looking at pure volume alone. David, yeah, I already have Diggs, and I do know the Bills really spread that ball around. Okay, I mean, yeah, that's another good point. If you already have Diggs, then you need to be rooting for Diggs on a weekly basis. Now, don't get me wrong, you can root for Diggs and Sanders, and the offense is good enough that they can both get involved, right? But overall, yeah, I think if you have him, or if you have Diggs, then you do want to lean rooting for Diggs and not Sanders on a weekly basis. So I think that's a good place to be in terms of starting Pittman over him, right? David, yeah, I just read that. Andrew, what are some receivers I can get for Chuba Hubbard? I mean, I think it's got to be a lower end guy or potentially someone dealing with injuries right now. So it's a great question, Andrew. Let's see. Let me see what I can get pulled up here. Guys, if you're new here, make sure you consider subscribing down below, becoming part of the Catch fam tonight. And make sure you guys are hitting that like button as well. Andrew, I think you could trade for potentially Christian Kirk, right? Who's not entirely consistent, might be a good trade option. Maybe a Jalen Waddle while he's coming off of a bad week, right? I mean, I think those are two, good options overall. But it's got to be to a team that needs a running back. So your league better than I do, right? If that specific team needs a running back, then it's going to depend on what receivers they have. Maybe a DJ Moore with the way that the Panthers have been throwing the football, right? Maybe a Brandon Cooks coming off of a bad week as well. I think those would be a couple good options for you. Let me go through the list here and see who else we got. Let me run this one play in Madden, which is almost an interception, but that's okay. I mean, yeah, I think Waddle and Cooks are really good. It's got to be to a team that needs a receiver. I mean, maybe a Cortland Sutton coming off a bad week as well. Yeah, I think those are a couple guys I think you could realistically target moving into week 8. So let me know what you think about those potential targets, man. But you gotta be to a team that's looking for a running back, right? And probably a losing team at that as well. Oh my gosh, I cannot get this play to work tonight. I have not completed that pass single time tonight in either game. Okay. Juke, so do you think I should wait for CMC to play a game and trade high to get more, or should I try to trade him now? I'm 5-2. I just hold on to him, man. I really would just keep him for the season. I think he's going to be just fine on the season, man. So, yeah, if you're asking me, I say just hold on to him, man. When he comes back, I don't think you're going to regret having him on your team. But if you absolutely want to trade him at high value, then I think that's a better option than trading him right now. All right, let's see here. Jason says, Andrew, if you find the RB desperate enough team with CMC and maybe Higgins, Devonta, Waddle. Yeah, I like those options as well. Jason says Juke, if you're going to hold him, I would just keep him. Fair enough. I think I agree with you there too, Jason. Andrew, the guy that has CMC has no running backs as wide receivers are Brown, Cooper, Evans, and Cooks. I mean, listen, man, I think you start overall with Brown, Cooper, or Evans. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, if they're desperate enough, then you might get one of those guys. I would make Hollywood Brown the top guy, then Evans, and then Cooper. But if you can't get them, then I still think Cooks is a fair trade. But if you had the advantage in the trade, then I say roll with it, man. And I say try and get one of those studs. But if they rebuttal and you end up with Cooks and you're needing a wide receiver, due to volume alone, I don't think that it's a bad play, right? I still think that it helps your team, right? I mean, especially if you need a receiver. So start with the studs and move down the list. For me personally, be Brown, Evans, Cooper, then Cooks. I mean, start high and then keep moving down low and see what that fantasy owner will take. But if he's desperate enough, man, and he's hurting that badly, then I think that you've got a good shot. So yeah. Let me know what you think about that, Andrew. But I think that's a good place to be. All right, guys. Let me know what else you guys got going on. This might be the final game, Madden, for the night. So let me know. Let's get our final. Well, we got plenty of time in the game, but just want to give you guys fair warning. So I do have to work tomorrow. But nonetheless, man, excited to be here for a little bit longer with the Catch family, man. You guys are killing it tonight. Great fantasy Q&A. Like I said, I mean, week 7 was loaded. I mean, I tried my best last week, guys. It was a tough week to help you guys plan for. But looks like we got some good victories out there. You guys coming through and letting me know tonight and last night as well. Looks like I was able to help out a good amount of you guys. So definitely happy to see that. I know that some of you guys still took some losses, but it was a tough week, man. It was a really tough week. I don't think we'll ever forget Biocalypse as it was named. It was a tough week 7, guys. So I still think week 8 has got a lot of factors in it, right? Teams not playing as good as we thought they would. Injuries, lots of injuries at the RB position still. We got the Ravens and Raiders on bye week, so lots to deal with this week as well. Jason, I take any of those 4 guys, Evans, Brown, Cooper, Cooks for me, though. Yeah, I take any of them as well. I would, absolutely. I think it's a great trade. Jerry, I don't have any more fantasy questions. I think I have everything figured out. Just need to cross my fingers and hope I get a few pickups. Word. Well, luckily, Jerry, you were here for, so many other things than just fantasy, my guy. I mean, you are here to bring about the good spirits and keep the conversation rolling. So I'm glad you've got your week figured out, man. But we're happy to have you here either way, Jerry. So, yeah. It's been a great stream tonight, man. You guys are killing it. It's been a good week, man. Fantasy's coming to an end. We get a moment to breathe. Tomorrow everyone will see where they're at in their respective leagues. We'll see how the rankings shape out. And we'll start to really think about those waiver wire pickups. So make sure you guys check out. I did a waiver wire video earlier in the day. I did stream it, but it's not too crazy long, so you guys should be able to go back and watch it. Went pretty in depth overall. Tried a little bit different of a format, and I think it turned out pretty good. So thank you to anyone who came out earlier in the day. But if you guys are having a lot of speculation around the waiver wire, I do think that video will help you out a little bit as well. So make sure you guys check that out. And I will be dropping Steven's must start running back video, or excuse me, not must start defensive video for the week, and his must start kicker video for the week between tonight and tomorrow. So make sure you guys check those out as well. They are always great, and Steven really works hard on those, and he tries to at the same time give you guys a couple laughs and everything in between. So nonetheless, we will be streaming tomorrow night as well between 7:30 and 8. And yes, Steven will be in the His A tomorrow. I know everyone is pumped to see Steven. I know he is pumped to see you guys as well. And make sure you guys tune in. We'll either be doing just fantasy Q&A or fantasy Q&A with our must start segments as well. But nonetheless, make sure you guys stay tuned, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single stream or upload. and we have got plenty coming to get you guys prepared for week 8. Super stoked for this week of fantasy, man. I'm a fan of the surprise morning stream, says Jerry. Yeah, I guess it was probably closer to morning for you. For me, it was like 1:30. But overall, man, I'm glad that you liked it. And yeah, I just tried out a different format overall for the waiver wire video, and I hope that it turned out good. I hope that it was helpful for you guys. But appreciate it, Jerry. All right, let's see here. David Z. Do you think Deontay Johnson is someone I should grab? Do you think he'll be a permanent part of the Browns game Browns running game going forward? I do. I absolutely do. As long as Kareem Hunt is injured, at least, right? I mean, we've seen, Nick Chubb be deployed with Kareem Hunt every single week that they've both been healthy. And I think moving forward until Kareem Hunt comes back, we're going to see Nick Chubb and Johnson take over this backfield. I think obviously Nick Chubb is the number one guy, but gosh, man, no, it was a short week, but the Broncos are number 4 team against opposing running backs going into this past week, and Johnson just tore them up. I don't think there's any way the Browns can afford to not play him, right? So to answer your question, yes, I think he's going to be a factor, but when Kareem Hunt comes back, I'm not quite sure. So for now, I think he's worth picking up, especially if maybe this injury pops back up for Nick Chubb. Do I think that's likely? Probably not, but it could happen. And even if it doesn't, I think he's going to see some value. So, I mean, I was thinking about this earlier. I own him in my primary league, and I was like just looking around at what players I need, what I need to move around for the week, and who I need to target. I'm like, I can't drop this guy. I really can't. I got a lot of faith in him moving forward. While Kareem Hunt is out, that is. Joe, what is going on? Hope you're doing well tonight. Thanks for coming out to the stream. Hope you got some fantasy dubs on the week. Would you trade Tyreek for CD and Deonte? I would definitely consider it. I would absolutely consider it, man. I just think that on a weekly basis, Tyreek Hill can probably still offer a higher ceiling than any other receiver in the league. But if you need the depth and if you need a little bit more consistency, then I think that trade is perfectly fine. And I mean, you just have to be comfortable with what you're potentially losing, right? Potentially losing the best receiver in fantasy football. I mean, on the season, does it look that way? Maybe not, but he has these crazy games where he has 3 touchdowns and over 180 receiving yards, right? So he's only had 1 on the year. Don't get me wrong, right? We were talking about him a little bit earlier and how he's been a little bit underperforming on the season, but overall, just you have to be aware of what you're potentially losing. And I mean, you're potentially losing Tyreek Hill, right? Now, CeeDee Lamb and Deontay Johnson, extremely consistent. CeeDee Lamb's going to have those big games. Johnson's going to have some big games too. And most importantly, like I already said, they are extremely consistent. So I don't mind the trade if you're hurting at the receiver position outside of Tyreek Hill. If you're not, then I think you just roll the dice and you keep rolling with Tyreek Hill. I mean, I know he's been a little disappointing on the season. I know the Chiefs look absolutely scary, but I still just don't believe that entirely that the Chiefs are going to have an awful season, right? It's a big game coming up for them here in Week 8 against the Giants, right? And I mean, I think Tyreek Hill will probably have a big game against the Giants, for example, right? So is he going to have more games where he only has 6 or 8 points? Probably. But I do think he's going to have a couple games on the season where he's got 20-plus points. So if you need the depth, yes, I would do the trade. If you don't, then I think you hold on to Tyreek Hill. I mean, it's just a lot of value coming from one player, man. But I love CeeDee Lamb and I love Deontay Johnson as well. So, it's a tough call. Let me know, Joe, where your headspace is at with it, man, and how you feel about it overall. Jerry, I think you need to hold on to Tyreek. Yeah. I mean, I think to some degree it does depend on, the individual roster, right? But at the same time, I think that I'm leaning that way as well. Uh-oh. I'm going to give up a touchdown in Madden. What in the world was that? Ooh, there's a flag on the play. Pass interference. No way. No way. All right. Man, can't believe. I know I've said this 100 times tonight, but I really can't believe that the season is halfway over after this week. I guess we got 17 weeks, so we're not quite there, but it's basically over, right? Halfway over, I should say, right? And yeah, I need to figure out. I mean, we really, this is something I'm going to start looking at heavily this week. I think for you guys is really looking at playoff schedules for fantasy football, what players we want, what players we need to trade for, right? And just trying to get you guys more prepared for the actual playoffs and kind of the stretch before going into playoffs as well. Because if you guys can start to make some of these trades and waiver wire pickups, those of you who are in pretty good positions and can start to position yourselves for the playoffs, then I think now is the time to do it, right? So that's something I'm going to personally try and work on between this week and next week. Try and get some videos out for you guys so we can start to look ahead and hopefully position us in good standings in the playoffs as well. All right, just threw another interception in Madden. No surprise. Juke, who's a good tight end to pick up off the waiver? Any names that stick out rest of the season? Tanyan, question mark. I think Tanyan this week with Adams out is a good pickup, but he's been so inconsistent on the season that I don't feel great about Tanyan. And you guys know, those of you who've been around for a while, how heavily I vouched for Robert Tanyan in the offseason and preseason. And listen, man, just when the Packers start to get close to the red zone this coming week, I do think that Tanyan is probably going to be utilized a little bit more than we've seen in recent weeks and everything. Although he's coming off his best game of the season, right? So I like where Tanyan's out, but I don't know necessarily for the rest of the season. Let me know, Juke, who are a couple of the top tight ends available in your league, and I will happily get back to you. But if you need someone for this week, oh gosh, I didn't mean to accept that penalty. Yikes. Okay. Listen, if you need a tight end for this week, I think that Tanyan is a sneaky choice this week. Yeah, I really do. And Aaron Rodgers loves him in the red zone. Devonte Adams is out. It's going to be a competitive game against the Cardinals, and I can definitely see our guy Tanyan getting in the end zone on the week. Let me pull up here for you guys. Let's see here. Let's see. So Robert Tanyan. Okay. Yeah. Here's this is what I just want to verify. The Cardinals are currently the best team in the league against opposing tight ends. So that's my only concern with Robert Tanyan this week. Oh gosh, it'd be such a good play while Adams is out if he wasn't going up against uh, the Cardinals, right? Gosh, I thought that was the case, and I just wanted to check. I can't believe I took that penalty and wiped away a touchdown in Madden, then didn't score a touchdown. Anyways, I know no one cares about Madden, but let me know, Juke, who else is available at the tight end position. Okay. Joe, I have Tyreek, Terry, Thielen, Marvin Jones, A-Rob, and Ayuk. 3 flex leagues, so I've been having to play 5 receivers. My RBs are Eckler, Mitchell, Carter, and Pollard. However, I did steal Ertz off the waivers a couple weeks ago, so I could play both him and Higbee if needed. It's a pretty good roster overall, man. I mean, I don't hate Thielen and Marvin Jones being the next guys up at the receiver position. I mean, Allen Robinson and Ayuk, man, you might be able to drop, quite frankly. I mean, I'm pretty much calling them drops at this point in the season. So you might be able to kind of scrounge around and find some better, waiver wire additions outside of those guys. Now, is there some hope left for them? Sure, but they both had really good matchups this past week and didn't do anything with it. And overall, their respective offenses just haven't really been clicking, especially Allen Robinson's, right? So there's a lot to think about there, man. All right, let's see here. Juke, Mo Alley, Cox, Tanyan, Ingram, Cole Kmet, and Everett. Listen, I really like Ingram versus Kansas City this week, and especially dependent on how many overall receivers are out for the Giants, right? He saw a pretty productive day with, everyone except for Darius Slayton out for the Giants. So Ingram might be a good play. And then I also like Mo Alley Cox this week. I mean, I talked about both of these guys in the waiver wire video that we put out earlier today. And Mo Alley Cox now has a touchdown in 4 consecutive games. And don't get me wrong, man. If you wipe away the touchdowns, sure, he's not having a great day and everything's bad stat lines. If you wipe away the touchdowns, excuse me, but a lot of your tight ends out there, you wipe away the touchdowns, they don't have a good day, right? Even some of your top guys, right? So I'm not too concerned about that. Carson Wentz trusts Mo Alley Cox, right? It's a good matchup versus Tennessee. So I don't mind Mo Alley Cox. Listen, man, do I see Target getting an uptick and targets this week? Sure. But is he going up against the #1 ranked team against opposing tight ends? Yes. And I think that's something that we have to take into consideration. Is it going to be a competitive game? Yes. Is it going to be a short week and defense don't always show up on Thursday Night Football? Yes. But I think it's just a little bit of too much of a gamble for me, which I think is definitely. Oh, wow. Definitely a little concerning for me. Sorry. My laptop is freaking out. I think I hit something to bring up iTunes. Anyways, let's see here. Joe, however, I did steal Ertz off the waivers a couple weeks ago, so I could play him both in Higbee and Eve. Okay, I think I already read that. Drop Ayuk for TY. I think you can definitely consider it at this point in the season. Yeah, I think you can. And some good matchups coming up for the Colts as well. So, yeah, I don't mind that at all. Oh, gosh. All right, let's see here. Aiden, what's going on, man? Should I accept this trade? Joe Mixon and Calvin Ridley for Leonard Fournette and Stephon Diggs. Ooh. I'd say yes. I think it's an upgrade at the receiver position. And in terms of the running backs, it's a pretty even swap. So I'd say yes. Yeah. I think I like Diggs over Ridley on the season for sure. So, yeah, I'd say yes. And, yeah, I mean, I love Joe Mixon, but I think Fournette is a pretty even swap overall. So I don't have a problem with that trade whatsoever. All right. Let's see here. Joe dropped by Ayuk for TY. Yeah, sorry, I just went over that one. Yeah, I do think that's worth doing. All right, let's see here. Ray0134. What's going on? Hope you're doing well tonight. Thanks for coming out to the stream. Who should I trade? I have Pitts, Patterson, and Ridley. I have Mike Williams and Jamar Chase at wide receiver, Najee and Taylor at running back. Gosh, that is a loaded team. Love it, man. I think you trade Ridley out of those guys. I do. And I would lean on those running backs and hold on to them. That depth is fantastic. But you can lean on Mike Williams and Jamar Chase on a weekly basis. They're going to offer you the highest ceilings out of those guys. So I love me Calvin Ridley. I think he's going to be very consistent on the rest of the season. But nonetheless, man, I think that that's where you lean there. Yeah, I think you lean on trading Ridley. Let me know where your headspace is at, Ray. And yeah, but I think personally that's who I'd end up trading there. I mean, and I like to have RB depth, so and I mean I love Pitts and Patterson right now. I think you hold on to Najee, Taylor, and Patterson. I think Pitts is someone who's going to continue to improve on the season like we're already seeing. All right, guys, make sure you're smashing that like button down below so we get as many new streamers to the catch tonight. And if you guys are new here, make sure you consider subscribing down below and becoming part of the catch fam. But nonetheless, just appreciate everyone coming out tonight. The community is absolutely killing it tonight. Love to see it, man. Love to see the catch fam in full force. Juke, okay, cool. I like Mo as well. Thank you again. Absolutely, man. That's what we're here for. Not a problem at all. Joe Fournette has been balling. He sure has. Yeah, I mean, the volume that he's getting in that offense is just ridiculous. Jason Kenobi, my week 8 opponent, has Devonte Adams. Let's go. Glad to see it for you, Jason. Sad to see it for your opponent, but definitely glad to see it for you. All right. JJ McVay. RBs, I have Zeke, Josh Jacobs, Elijah Mitchell, Miles Sanders. At wide receiver, I have Adams, Moore, Jefferson, Sterling Shepard. Should I trade Jacobs and Jefferson to get Aaron Jones and CD? So you would end up with Aaron Jones, Zeke, Elijah Mitchell, and Miles Sanders. I think that's fine. It's not a crazy. Due to the injuries, I think that's good, right? Hate to see you lose Justin Jefferson and get a little bit of downgrade, but CD Lamb's been fantastic. He's starting to put on in terms of the season. So, yeah, I think it's a good trade. I would take the trade, JJ, for sure. Aiden, any advice for what I should do with Damian Harris? I would hold on to him if you're, even if you're not hurting at the running back position at all, then you can probably trade him for a wide receiver 1 or low end RB1, RB2, right? But he's playing good enough football right now that you could probably get pretty good trade value. But if you're, hurting at the running back position or you don't have a lot of great depth, then I think you hold on to him for now. LeBron's brain, what's going on? I got a trade for you to analyze. Good to see you, brother. Gallup, CD, McCaffrey, Tony for Kamara, Hopkins, Michael Thomas. So giving up Gallup and Tony as well as CD and Christian McCaffrey receiving Kamara, Hopkins, Thomas. It's a lot to lose, man. I mean, down the stretch when CMC is healthy, I think that the owner who has CMC wins that trade. That's tough. That's tough. It's quite tough. Jason says it's a fair trade. Oh, I'm sorry. I think he's talking to Ray there. My bad. LeBron's, that's tough. It depends. I think it's a good trade. I can go back and forth on this one. I mean, losing Gallup and Tony is actually quite a bit, though. I mean, I think that they're kind of offering wide receiver 1 values, man. But as I see, it's Crypt weighing in saying, and Jason, now I see you're talking the bronze. Okay. Yeah, I agree with it's Crypt, though. Getting Kamara and Hopkins probably makes it worth it. And I think in terms of winning now, yes, you take the trade. Yeah, but it's a tough one to evaluate. It's a good question, LeBron's brain. Ray, I made some good trades early. I still have CMC and Kittle in my bench. I'm thinking about taking a chance on trading Ridley for Michael Thomas. Personally, just my 2 cents, I'd rather have Ridley than Michael Thomas. Think about last season, guys, right? I mean, I know a lot of you guys have conviction in Michael Thomas, but I just don't see it, in my humble opinion. Could be wrong. I will absolutely let you guys grill me all day long if I'm wrong. But last season when Thomas came back, injuries, personal, off the field issues, right? I just don't know. I mean, I love the idea of Jameis Winston bombing the football to Michael Thomas on a consistent weekly basis. But at the same time, we know what Ridley's output is going to be. He's a safer play. But if you want to take the gamble, you want to roll the dice, you've got the conviction, then I think it's okay. But personally, I'd rather have Ridley. But that's just my opinion. Don't let me be the deciding factor in your guys' trades. I'm just here to offer you my humble opinion. And whenever you guys have those gut feelings and those convictions, and I want you guys to roll with that. Like I've said before on the streams and on the channel, man, the gut conviction can be the strongest, indicator of victories in fantasy, believe it or not. All right, Aiden, glad I stumbled into the stream. I hit you with a sub and a like, my man. Appreciate that support, Aiden, and congrats on becoming a member of the Catch family. Happy to have you here. Glad that you stumbled into the stream as well. Just got scored on in Madden by Will Fuller for you, Aiden. So shout out, Aiden. Let's see. Jason LeBron, what's your record? It's Crypt. Kamara, also a player that could win you crucial playoff games like last year. I do agree with that. It's Crypt. Ridley still got time to break out. I also agree with that sentiment as well. So, yeah, tough decisions to make there. Tough decisions to make there for sure. All right, let's see here. You guys are killing it tonight. Great fantasy Q&A. great fantasy Q&A by you guys tonight. All right, guys, we are probably going to start winding down things over the next 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit sooner than that. So make sure you guys get in any final fantasy questions for the night. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for the live stream, man. Hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a stream. But we've got Steven in the house tomorrow. I know he is super stoked to see you guys. I know you guys, most of you guys, I'm just kidding. You guys are super excited to see Steven tomorrow as well, man. He's really been looking forward to it. So should be 7:30, 8 p.m. at the latest, man. We'll get the stream scheduled ahead of time so you guys will know when to look out for the stream. But if not, make sure you got that notification bell on so you don't miss a single upload or stream. We'll have our must-start defenses either dropping first thing in the morning or tonight after the stream, as well as the must-start kickers for the week dropping as well. And then we'll either be doing our must-start QB, RB, wide receiver, tight ends during the live streams tomorrow and Wednesday, or we'll be dropping them throughout the week. Haven't entirely decided yet. So nonetheless, got a lot planned on the week. Make sure you guys are staying tuned because definitely want to see you guys catch some dubs this week, baby. Aiden, should I start Bateman or Devonta Smith this coming week? Bateman is on bye week. So you're starting Devonta Smith. Yeah, Bateman's on bye week. Ravens and Raiders on bye week. But moving forward, I do like Bateman quite a bit. But yeah, he's on bye week this week. So I believe he'll be leaning Devonta Smith there. Jason Ridley is a mid-low wide receiver 2 rest of season. I don't necessarily disagree. And I do think he's relatively touchdown dependent as well. But I still think in terms of consistency, he definitely has it there. I don't think he's the worst player to potentially trade away, but I do think in terms of consistency, he's going to be there on the season. And you know me, Jason, I like consistency. So, Aiden, yeah, damn, LOL. Yeah, he's on bye week this week, but hey, it's all good, man. All good. Oh my gosh, Will Fuller. Oh no, that's not even Will Fuller. It's Jalen Waddle just burning us in Madden. All right, guys, make sure you get your final questions out for the night as we start to wind things down. And don't worry, man. I mean, we got plenty of time throughout the week. Tomorrow and Wednesday night, of course, we'll be live streaming for some good fantasy Q&A action. So anything comes up, man, don't worry, man. We'll have plenty of streams throughout the week. And of course, man, anytime, we're not live streaming, you guys can just find the latest video we've put out or whatever you need to do, go back and watch one of the streams and just comment down below, man. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. We'll help you guys make those decisions throughout the week. So even if we're not live streaming, guys, you guys can always comment on the videos as well, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Got a lot planned for the week, though. Another great week of fantasy football, man. Coming off a very tough week. I think everyone is happy to have seen week 7 come and go. Jerry, good night, everyone. Talk to you next time. Appreciate you, Jerry. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming out, and thank you for your continued support. Appreciate you, Jerry. Let's see here. Jason, God, Hill, McLaurin, A.J. Brown looks so beautiful, and with Judy coming off IR. Let's go, Jason. Beautiful lineup, my guy. Beautiful lineup. Aiden, who's your number 1 waiver pickup this week? I would say Kenneth Gainwell for sure. Kenneth Gainwell absolutely is my guy for the week. Aiden, I did drop our waiver wire video for the week. That was streamed a little bit earlier, but it's not crazy long, so make sure you check that out if you want further advice on the week in terms of waiver ads. But I definitely have Kenneth Gainwell as my number 1 guy on the week. So yeah, if you want further advice, we did drop that a little bit earlier in the day, and that'll probably be more helpful than anything. And as I see Jason saying that Kenneth Gainwell is rostered in his league, yeah, he is rostered in quite a few leagues already, but if he's not, then he's absolutely 100% a waiver wire addition on the week. All right, let's see here. Jerry, don't forget to leave a sub and like to all the new viewers. Appreciate that support, Jerry. Aiden, okay, well, do appreciate you going and checking out the video. I think it'll be a lot more helpful overall for you than anything I could go over last second here, because I really, really broke things down for the week. So we will go ahead and wind down the stream tonight. You guys killed it tonight. Great fantasy Q&A. Had an absolute blast as always with you guys. Shout out to all the new members of the Catch fam. Appreciate your guys' support. Shout out to all of the Catch fam. Another week in the books, and you guys are just killing it. This community is just growing day by day. It is just phenomenal to watch, man. I can't even express how much Steven and I truly, truly appreciate you guys and all of your support. So with that being said, man, like I already went over, make sure you got that notification bell on so you don't miss a single upload or a stream. I will be dropping the must-start defenses either tonight after the stream or first thing in the morning, as well as our must-start kickers for the week. Both those videos done by Steven. So make sure you go check them out for a good laugh and some great fantasy advice, as always, from our guy Steven. Tomorrow, we will both be on probably 7:30. Latest would be 8 p.m. And then the following night, same deal. Both Steven and I will be here on Wednesday night, 7:30 or 8 p.m. at the latest. Cannot wait to get some fantasy Q&A going with Steven. I believe that we'll be doing our must-start RBs and wide receivers live tomorrow. And then the next day, must-start QBs and tight ends. But we might switch it for the week. We'll find out. You guys will find out tomorrow. But nonetheless, make sure you guys tune in for tomorrow night's stream. It's going to be an absolute blast. Make sure you guys check out must-start defenses, must-start kickers in the meantime, in between the streams as well. But truly, truly cannot express how grateful I am for this community, man. It's absolutely crazy. You guys are phenomenal subscriber base, and I just love watching this community grow. It keeps me, I mean, plenty that keeps me going. You know what I'm saying, guys? But this absolutely drives me day by day. No matter what I go through the day, I know I get to come home and hang out with the Catch fam, and it's just phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. Shout out to any guys who got some dubs this past week. Shout out to you guys who did not get dubs. It is okay. The season is not lost yet. I promise. Keep tuned. We will do everything we can to continue to help you guys. Elver G, what time is the stream going to be today? Assuming that you're talking about Tuesday, like I said, either 7:30 or 8 p.m. at the latest. We'll have some videos coming out in between over. So make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you'll never miss, when we go live or anything like that, any uploads in between as well. So appreciate all you guys. Hit that like button on your way out if you did not already do so. If you guys watch this retrospectively, hit that like while you're at it, man. And if you guys are new here, make sure to become part of the Catch fam by subscribing down below. If you guys watch this retrospectively, or even if you watched it live and you have any afterthoughts, make sure you comment down below. I will personally respond to every single comment. First name, last name. I won by 0.4 because Alvin Kamara didn't get enough points for my opponent. Perfect way to end the stream. Let's go. First name, last name, member of the Catch fam getting a dub. Thank you, Alvin Kamara, for balling out for those of us who needed him. But thank you, Alvin Kamara, for also not scoring that extra 0.4 points for our guy, first name, last name. And that is a great way to end the stream. So I got nothing else to say, but thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch, and peace.